It's the cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes, but don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there is a fight, and she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone, and when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way the things will really go with Sandra. Some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but soon they will realize it's Sandra. And when they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend of Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. Every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra.
Good morning, K-Man. How is everybody doing this beautiful, beautiful Thursday morning? Friday, part one. If you're on the roadway this morning, you already know accidents. Yeah. Sorry for you. But there's some accidents out there. All right. Well, turn up the volume, honey child, if you're sitting in the car. And just sit back and enjoy the time with me. We can do that together. How about that? Sounds like a plan? All righty. Good. Okay, so here we are. Thursday morning. Got some open mic opportunity today. By the way, big shout out to all the avatar people who were jumping on the caricature. I made mine yesterday. There it is. I love it. It's fun. Yeah. What you gonna do? Isn't it cute? I thought it actually did a pretty good job. I gave it a front picture, and it's not too far off. It asked me what style I wanted. I said, let's go with the glam look. So it's got me bejeweled. I love it. Next time, I think I'll do like a, I don't know, fun Caribbean girl look. There we go. Right? Look at the necklace and the earrings. This is like worthy of a party. But I love how it captured so many elements. The mug is perfect. Captured my mug perfectly. It did the screens in the back perfectly. My little Marl Road sign. Yeah, it even gave me a spotlight in the back. Denny would be proud. He's like, there's your there's that key light that I'm always telling you about. So happy Thursday, folks. Let me go ahead and update the links real quick before I forget to do that. And then we're going to be well on our way. I was catching up on a few. Wee Wee says, I love it. Aw, Wee Wee, thank you. Good morning, honey child. Thank you so much. I see that there's a boat out there, a couple boats that are having some issues. Now, I can't help y'all with the boating situation, except you got to talk to people who actually know how to rescue and move a boat in rough seas. Because the longer those boats stay there, the more of a problem we are going to have. Okay? Y'all know how this works. The environment is very, very important. You guys cannot be jeopardizing the environment, honey child. It's not a good look. Please and thank you. Sort your boat out. I am not happy with it. If that boat springs a leak, that's environmental damage. Let's think now, how can we get this boat sorted out? You know, I would think if you owned a company that requires you to be in the water, you would have this level of expertise on board. You would know what you're doing or know somebody who knows what they're doing. Yeah, seems to me that they don't have a clue what's going on. What is this all about? Come on now, get yourselves together. There's an accident this morning on the Esterly Tibbetts Highway that first came out of a roundabout. We posted it already on social media. So if you're going in that direction, it's blocked off currently. I just got an update. Police are there. And so unfortunately, you know, just be cautious, be careful. You're going to be kind of late today, I think. You can edit or delete a post. Yes. All right, so expect some delays there. Big shout out to Recover, our personal injury experts. If you're in an accident after 911, who you gonna call? Recover. Yes, honey child, just call them. They know what to do. They're the experts. And don't forget, it's not just car accidents, slip and falls at work, all sorts of stuff. They got you covered. All right, beautiful folks. Good morning to our Windsor Park group, all the beautiful people in Windsor Park. Good morning to Washington Boulevard community. Good morning to Caymanians in Florida. Another one of our groups on WhatsApp. Big shout out to the Highlands folks. West Bay, where you at? I hear you, West Bay. My husband always says, West Bay is the best bay. He thinks he's a West Bay at Shell. I tell him, no. He jokes about it all the time. That was the first place that he stayed on island. He used to live West Bay, so he has an affinity for the beautiful district of West Bay. I had to drag him out of West Bay. He's like, can't we live in West Bay? No, we can't. We're not West Bayers. Actually, we are, low key. But, we prefer town, Savannah. Now we're country folks. Now we're out in Savannah. Yeah. Have you ever lived in a district that you couldn't wait to move out of? I mean, all of our island is beautiful and in different kind of ways, but Caymanians tend to get stuck in a particular, I don't know how much we move around the island. Like if you're a Georgetowner, you probably want to stay in Georgetown for, as long as you possibly can. West Bayers, you always end up going back west eventually. But I used to live out it was brief when I first moved back home. I was all the way out in North Side, but not just North Side. I'm like Kaibo. I found a little cottage out there. I don't even know, is the cottage still there? It might still be there. And this was back in the 1990s, 96, 97. And I was out there by myself. I felt like I was in a horror movie, only because it was so eerily quiet. And at night, there was literally nothing around. There's like no street lights. There's like no neighbors. Oh, it was a different level of isolation, honey Joe. Oh my goodness. I used to rack up some huge flow bills back in those days, calling overseas, still trying to get acclimated back to Cayman. I was like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Why am I all the way out here by myself? I was kind of thinking to myself, you know what? I'm going to be in the middle of a horror movie and not even know that it's being filmed. That's low key how crazy it was. So North Side is a beautiful district. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think I would do that again. Strong Wilt says Jamaicans love to live in West Bay. I love Northward the best. I don't know that it's because he's Jamaican. I think it's just because that's where he first lived and he got used to coming to town. Back in those days, hardly any traffic. Well, that has since changed. Oh my gosh. But yeah, he just loves him a West Bay chill. And he's always joking with me about the different parts that he used to hang out. He's like, oh yeah, I was hanging out in Goat Yard. He don't know nothing about no Goat Yard. I'm like, really? I said, okay, take me to Goat Yard since you know where it is. Low key, I get lost in West Bay. It's actually easy to don't laugh at me now, West Bay got a lot of roads. I feel like West Bay is the one district with the most number of, other than Georgetown, obviously being the central, Yeah, West Bay got roads that, you can get lost. The back roads and the back roads to the back roads. And when people be like, oh yeah, meet me down here, I'm like, ping me the location. Let me see if I can find you. Even the GPS is confused when you go west. The GPS be like, honey child, I don't know where you took me. Good morning, Jim. He says, I'm here to see and hear what sus is spoken on today. Richard, Sir Richards is in the house from Round Rock, Texas, one of her own that has traveled and lived abroad. Richard, you're always doing so much in your community there. I'm so proud of you. I love it. I'm having to get up earlier now with this time change. So, what time is it in Texas where you are? Because I saw you mention something that Austin, Texas, and where was the other area that I was talking about yesterday? That there's like in different time zones within Texas, within the state of Texas. Really? Bacon, bacon for all. I love that name. Says, "What's up, Oprah?" Do I really look like Oprah? I think it's the hair, and maybe the thing. But yeah, that was. I'm gonna show you the picture that that I gave AI to do my thing off of. Hold on. So I gave it two pictures. I gave it this one. That's me. Yeah. Okay. And then I gave it, there's another one that I have. That's an old profile picture. Let me see if I can find it now. So I gave it like two pictures. Oh yes, this one. I gave it this one and that one. And so and this is me. This is zero AI. This is big shout out to Wendy. Wendy Adams did this. She did makeup for me. This was like years ago. We were doing Christmas pictures and family photos. I was like, let me get my makeup done. So she did my makeup for me. She did a beautiful, beautiful job. Absolutely gorgeous. Thank you. Nice blending and contouring and all that fun stuff. She did a beautiful job with the eyes. So yeah, so that's what it took. Those two pictures and gave me this. I think it's actually not too bad. It's actually kind of captured the chin here for sure. You see the little chin there. Here we have the double chin going on. the neck is taking over the chin. Chill, you know when you got a few pounds to lose, what happens, right? So yeah, that's fun. I saw you guys doing it. And I was like, maybe I'll jump on it. And I love how it like put the board in and everything. Like it really captured the essence. And I don't know how AI knew that I don't keep long nails because none of these pictures have my hands or nails in it. But guess what? It captured the whole thing because I'm not really a long nail person. So it kind of did it perfectly, I thought. Yep, it captured the bosoms. What can I say? And the notebook on the side, the phone, the headphone. I mean, the little details in it. Even the chair in the background. Look at the chair. You see, that's where it picked up on the details here. Technically, it's green, but that's okay. It still picked up on the chair in the background. The monitors back there. I thought this really did a fantastic job. I love it. Boy, AI is smart. We're in trouble. Mediocre people, y'all are in trouble. I hate to tell you. Wee. Marshall, good morning. Hi, Delcy. Where's hubby this morning? Ben and Delcy from Pembroke Pines. So yeah, I saw someone said, well, do you know that AI is going to steal your image? I'm like, honey, child, that from this time you started using social media, all those donkey years ago, I don't know how long we've been on Facebook now, over 10, 15, 20 years, your image was long gone. Sorry to tell you. And then they did mention that, AI is doing a number of the environment. I know, because it takes a lot of electricity but it's not the normal AI necessarily. It's when they do things like crypto mining and stuff like that does a number in the environment. And so I hate to tell you, but there's certain things you can't undo. Okay, let's go down memory lane for a second before we start talking about some of our local issues. Some of you young folks are not even going to remember this, but remember when we had CDs? We went to CDs, we had cassette tapes. Now I'm on the cusp of, I remember cassette tapes. Yes, that was in my lifetime for sure. When I was a kid, so cassette tapes were still around. But as I was coming into, my own, like CDs started to come in, and then we had the little micro discs. Like they didn't last very long. Like they were like a blip. Like I don't even think I ever had one of those. But I literally have like 800 to 1,000 DVDs and not DVDs, but CDs, musical CDs, right? In my collection, I've still got them here. And I'm trying to think if we even have a CD player anymore. Oh yes, Marlon bought one of those things that has like a CD player, tape player, and the old record player in one. Like it's a little thing all in one. So he bought one of those a couple Christmases ago. Because then he bought these vintage. He's like a younger person, but his soul is older for sure. So he bought all of the vintage records, like Bob Marley records. You should see them. He has a whole thing. I don't know. He finds them on eBay from people and he just buys them. And he bought a ton of cassette tapes, and he bought a ton of the records, like to put on the record player. So yeah, he puts us on a record player. We sit here listening to Bob Marley from like the record player. The old, what were they called? Records, I guess. So yeah. So I don't really remember those. Like those were already going out when I was like growing up. So I probably would have been very, very young. So I don't have much recollection of those, but CDs, oh yeah. I was purchasing CDs. I was buying CDs, and I have a ton of CDs. Like I've got 4 of the big cases, and I think each one of those held at least 200. They were like double-sided pages, and they're in my closet. I'm hanging on to them. I'm not getting rid of them. Yeah. Then as I got into like university vinyl records, that's the word, girl. Thank you. Then as we started to get into the Napster phase, remember? Napster, and you had downloading. Oh yeah, I used to be on that, honey child. I'd be like, oh, what can I download? And of course, the music industry went bananas. Remember when they were like suing people, criminalizing it, throwing people in jail, and they didn't know what to do. You know, they just didn't know what to do. They're like, oh, people are stealing money from us. Multi-billionaire record industry that was stealing money from the artists. They were upset that somebody finally figured out how to steal money from them. And then that kind of went through a phase. Now that's largely disappeared. I don't think people do that anymore, right? You guys don't really go online looking for music, maybe movies still, but I don't think you do music anymore. And then we had, now you have streaming services. So Apple Music and stuff. So the record industry, and this just shows you businesses in general, kind of took a minute to try to catch up with the technology. So when they figured that people had unlimited access, no longer dial-up, remember that annoying sound from dial-up? Yeah, we don't want that no more, and all this kind of stuff. Eventually, we got to the stage where, you know, people would just go online and stream their music. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. If I want to listen to something, I go on my phone. It just shows you how much the technology has changed. I go on my phone and I listen to, what's my music app called again? Hold on. The one that iHeart. So I listen to iHeart Radio. And then, you know, obviously if I'm in the car, sometimes I listen to traditional radio, but iHeart is in the car too. And here. The second I see here, I'm listening to Throwback. Oh, I love me a Nelly. Remember back in the day? Yeah, so that's my favorite station, Throwback 105.5. That's hip hop and R&B. And then, but I can listen to anything I want. I can listen to Y100 out of Miami. I got iHeartRadio, so that's all the love songs when I'm in that mood. I got R&B jams. I got 1040. I have the iHeart Reggae station, Fly Nation, 99 Jams. Like those are all the presets, like in my favorites. And then, of course, you know, I love a good talk radio. So I've got NPR, although I don't think that NPR is on here. But I can listen to that through the NPR app and then just put that on my phone. So it's just amazing how we have transitioned to how we do certain things in life. So I kind of feel like, you know, on AI is like the same thing. Like we're going to have to transition and, you know, the world is going to have to get used to it. So you guys know I'm all into my AI guy there, what's his name again that I keep forgetting? The country guy, he's AI. That's AI music. So there was a whole article that I was reading. It's him and somebody else that's really popular, that's completely AI generated, all these songs. And the music industry, once again, is in an upheaval and they are confused. They don't know what to do. They're just like, well, this is going to, just upend the music industry again. It's not fair because how do you compete with AI and how do you get AI to walk up on a stage and accept a Grammy? I mean, it is literally just crazy. So there's all of that that's happening that, those of us who are kind of paying attention are watching and listening to it. And I don't know what it's going to be like in 5 years. I don't know what to tell you. 10 years, how much AI is going to change things like the music industry. Are we going to pretty much be listening to AI characters? I have no clue. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Hello.
Sunday.
How are you?
Oh, doing well.
Good.
Not as good as you, but anyway. I like those AI generators.
Aren't they nice? Some of the songs are very good. Oh, the images.
Yeah, the images. Right?
Yeah. Those are nice too.
Well, when I heard you talking about the cassette tapes and so forth.
Yeah.
Back in 1970, we had like one of the first record stores in Cayman.
Wow.
And what was out there was cassettes.
Uh-huh.
The cassette of those days, you had to take it out of the deck and turn it over. Get the other side to play.
Oh.
In came something called 8-track tape, which was very, very popular. I was installing tape decks in the 70s, the early to mid 70s. And 9 out of 10 decks that you installed in anybody's car was an 8-track. That's how popular they were.
Yeah.
Right? And cassette was almost out, but then they brought in the auto reverse cassette. So you push the cassette in and it would play one side and then automatically reverse. And the other thing was the 8-track took up a lot of space. In fact, radio came on, you used to use a type of 8-track, or 8-track, they were 8-track. But it was set up a little different from this. But what kind of ran the cassette out was when they brought in the 8-track. The 8-track was continuous play. You put it in and it played 4 stereo tracks. So they called it 8-track.
Okay.
So you had 8 tracks on it, right?
Yeah.
And it played, I've been looking for one to show my little godson. God knows I can't find one. And I repaired thousands of them.
You're looking for the 8-track or the player?
The 8-track. Or the player is something else. Probably still a few of them around.
Yeah.
The 8-track player, you probably get it. I heard you talking about a combination. I saw one of those combinations at Funky Tang once. It had the record player, cassette. I can't say that it had the 8-track with it. But 8-track was amazing. But the problem was with 8-track. The 8-track was big. You could probably store, not to exaggerate too much, you could probably store 4 cassettes in the same space they put 1 8-track. That's how thick they were.
Wow.
Thick and thick. It didn't exactly put 4, but they were much, much bigger. You could put probably 3 or so in the same. When I heard you talking about it, I said, man, 8-track. I said that before Sunday day.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it was probably still around, but I was too young. So I wouldn't have remembered the 8-track that much.
Yeah. Radio came on, used to use what more about, I think they call it a 4-track, but it didn't come with a pinch roller, and each one didn't have its own roller. When you push it in, it would pull the tape through. It had a hole in the bottom, and when you put it in, you kind of move the lever, and that had one pinch roller. So I even tried and checked normal there to see if I could get it. So that even if I could get one of those old 4-tracks, I would be glad, because I just wanted to show the young man.
I'm sure you can find them. I mean, I'm not well versed on eBay, but Marlon is. He's forever ordering stuff on eBay. So he bought a bunch of cassette tapes the other day. And yeah, so I think if you check there, you're likely to find somebody selling those things. Yeah. Yep. Because he got a bunch of Bob Marley, the old he's a music person. I think he used to do just for fun, you know, when boys are growing up, a little bit of DJing, whatever, back in the day. So he loves good music. He's always like listening to music. And we actually have, as part of our home, like sort of network, probably 100,000 plus songs on our database. So you can pick up any of our devices and stream it and listen to whatever music you want. And I mean like old time music. You can go all the way back probably to the 40s, 60s. Like he's got it all. So it's pretty amazing.
I go on YouTube and usually I can pick up all the songs that we used to sell back in 1974.
You can find them on YouTube. Yeah.
And different ones. I listen to them all the time.
Yeah.
But I get off YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't have you know, but it's been, I mean, I got 8 tracks forward now to AI. That's a transition. And transitions in between, you know, the video. Remember, you had the 12-inch. You had a video player. It would take like 12-inch things, almost the same size as the 12-inch records, but they were videos.
Mm-hmm.
So you would get like a Batman or one of those, you know, and they played over and over. They played about 100 times.
Yeah. Thank you, my darling. Going down memory lane with the music. Thank you so much. All right, 936-2626. Do you guys remember when you used to make a mixtape? Like if you like somebody, this is when you were like in middle and high school. You like someone, you'd make them a mixtape. That was like a signal to, boy, she kind of into you or he's into you. He'd put all his favorite songs on there thinking you're going to like them. Chicago songs or something that was like, you know, yeah. So we were into that too as teenagers and as kids. Someone asked me if I'm going to talk about Barbados election. I don't know much about it. I gotta be honest with you. We can talk about it, but if you guys know what's going on, because I certainly have not been paying attention to Barbados. I mean, I think it's a foregone conclusion that she's going to win again, Mia Motley. Let me see here now. Oh, let me see. There was something I was looking for. All right, so we went through vinyl records. Those were LPs and singles, right? That was the 1950s to the 80s, revived again in the 2000s. That was analog grooves pressed into a plastic disc that you needed the little needle reader. Then we went to reel tapes. Those are magnetic tapes, used mainly by professionals and hi-fi enthusiasts. That was the 1940s to the 1970s for high quality analog recording before my time. 8-track, which the caller was just mentioning, cartridges. Those were the chunky plastic cartridges with an endless loop of magnetic tape, popular in cars in the late 1960s to 1970s. By the way, you guys realize for a hot minute now that cars do not even have CD players anymore. They're gone. Mia Motley won already, honey child. I knew it. I think that was going to happen. But I'll let Renee know to do her little story on Barbados election. Mm-hmm. But yeah, most vehicles now have obviously no cassette tapes, but even CDs. I'm trying to think of the last car I had that had a CD player in it. It's been a minute. And in fact, the really crazy thing about it, at one point I had a car. I want to say that it was my, I had an Integra. Was that an Integra? I think so. And I put a multiple disc CD player in the trunk because sometimes I'm like, no, I want to listen to more than one CD at the same time. And I don't want to keep taking it out. So you could install those. Remember back in the day, you could have those added in to your trunk. Mm-hmm. So we had compact cassette tapes, Those I remember. They lasted till about the 1990s. Then we had compact disc CDs. So this is when, I started to kind of come into my own, like in the music genre. So they were introduced in the early 1980s, but really became popular in the 1990s and early 2000s. For a brief period of time, we had the mini disc, but they barely lasted. Then we went to obviously MP3 files. Though that was the day of USB sticks, compression and hard drives, Napster. What was the other big one other than Napster? There was another one that you could download that used to get us in a lot of trouble. I can't remember. But MP3 changed the world, I feel like. That file format was like, whoa. And then we went from that really now to these streaming platforms. MP3s are still kind of around, but most people aren't going out there and sourcing their own MP3 files anymore, like how we used to back in the day. Used to source them and burn them on a disc. Remember, I used to buy like the big thing of 100, CDs, and I was burning all kind of stuff. You could copy programs, you could do music, you could do your photos on those. And then we went to USB drives, little USB sticks. So cars don't have CD players anymore. Most of them have a USB drive. Now I'm going to share something with you guys. You guys are going to find this interesting, I think. I was going to tell you about this before Christmas, but somehow we never got around to it. And so I'm going to tell you this now. I kind of low-key, LimeWire. Yes, Nicole and Greg, Rennie, that's right. LimeWire, that was the hot one. That was the hot one, LimeWire. Yeah, I'm sure I used LimeWire back in the day. So yes, Al, LimeWire, that was it. That was a big, big one, boy. They were always trying to shut them down. So let me show you something. Okay. Now, I feel like part of me wants to tell you about this and part of me doesn't, because you guys are such horrible drivers. You don't need anything else that's going to distract you on the roadway. But one of the things I like to do when I'm driving, I like to listen to music. And I also like to listen to my YouTube channels or even my TV channels. Now, you're probably thinking, how the heck is Sandy doing that? I got a little device here. I plug it in to, what this does is, it's a little box. I'm actually going to give this to a guy today because there's a guy I want him to get used to it. So I'm going to open his up. I got one in my car, but I'm going to just open this up. I had another one here somewhere that I don't even know where I put it. But anyway, let me show you guys what it looks like. And so the idea here is you get YouTube, and like I said, I don't want y'all sitting there watching YouTube be running up in people because I can see it happening already. So these are basically little AI boxes, Android boxes, tiny little things. They come different brands and whatever. So this is it. This thin little thing can allow me to have, it's almost like a bolstered up CarPlay. So if you're familiar with your CarPlay, your CarPlay gives you a lot of features, like you can take calls through CarPlay and your phone. You have your maps, goes from like your phone to then your display in your car and all that kind of stuff. So this little device allows CarPlay to be like on steroids. So I can get Netflix. So those long drives in traffic, when you have kids and they're just like, they cannot take another minute of traffic or talking to you, you can put on a little Netflix movie. They stay in the back seat. They might have to, kind of lean over a little bit, still got on their seatbelt. They can sit there and watch their little shows and stuff. So when I'm stuck in traffic now, I got 10, 15, 20 minutes or more, heaven forbid, I can actually listen and learn, like one of my YouTube channels that I like to watch. Helps me kill time, makes time go by quicker. So these are great. I got YouTube, I got Netflix, I have, what else is on there? Music, if you want. I can even install the TV system that we have. I can install it on there, and I can watch live TV. So if I don't want to miss, BBC or whatever news channels, or if I want to sit there and watch TLC as I'm driving, there you go. I can do that too. Modern technology is amazing. So it works on most cars. You do need to have wired, like the car needs to be able to recognize wired CarPlay, which most cars do. The only car that I've noticed is a real problem, 2 cars. Forget about using it on a Tesla. And then the second car is BMWs. BMWs have their own proprietary, what do they call it? It's the entertainment thing, but they have a specific name for the BMW ones. Info something they call it. But anyway, their system is very, very different. So you need to get only specific ones will work on BMWs. And then you need special cabling and you need to turn this on, and that BMWs are complicated. They don't want you using other stuff on their stuff. But anyway, yeah. So that's been the latest thing that I've been into. But let me show you just really quickly the little players. What are they called? They have everything in one: cassette, DVD players, everything in one. So you can get these, and they're not really that expensive. They're an 8-in-1. Yes, here we go. Ooh, they've got it on sale. Coupon price. Huh. They have different colors: mahogany, black, espresso, white, and then oak. So they have a bunch of different colors. But here's what it looks like. It's an 8-in-1 system. So you can do, I'll show you this in case you're in the market. Go check it out. So this is the one that we have. Comes with a little remote control and everything. Yep, there it is. So now you can do, it has built-in speakers, 3-speed turntable. So that's your traditional turntable, CD player, cassette, FM radio. Oh, let's just pause for a second here. I don't have, until Marlon purchased this, I had no FM radio in my house. Isn't this weird to even say that in this day and age? I mean, obviously, radio is still very much a thing. Some of you right now are listening on radio, but I didn't have, if I wanted to listen to radio, I had to go get in my car if they didn't have a streaming app or something for the phone. So I had no radios in my house. So now I got FM radio through this. It comes with a USB, so you can still plug in USB drives and play music through that. RCA out, headphone jack. So yeah, you can do wireless music streaming as well. I don't know how, to be honest, you do that. But anyway, apparently it's on there. Interesting. Oh, it has Bluetooth connectivity. That's how they're doing it. I was going to say, how are they streaming? Bluetooth. So it's got all these different options, and then you get a little remote and stuff with it. So if you're a music lover like we are around here, check it out. But yeah, this is also the only CD player that I have in the house now, because remember, not even our computers. Remember when you bought a computer and it came with a CD player, because that's how you downloaded all of the programs. You got your Windows software and all this kind of stuff. Gone. When you buy a laptop now, there's no CD player. When you buy a desktop, does a desktop have a CD player? I don't even know. I have a gaming machine and I don't know if it has a CD. I kind of don't think it does, because everything is downloaded online now for apps. You just download them, update, whatever. And then you have the jump drive, which I guess if you're really desperate, you might need to use that. But I don't hardly use that anymore. I tell you what I do use jump drives for, especially as an Apple user, for phones. So I easily transfer video and data off of my phone onto jump drives and smaller drives. So praise the Lord, Apple now for the last couple of years finally has the USB-C connection like the rest of the world. They got up with the time, stopped trying to use this proprietary foolishness that was killing us. And so life has been easier. but you get these little jump drive. And because I do a lot of video, like I record stuff and whatever, right? Like I basically use my camera now as my phone. My camera is my phone, the other way around, my phone as my camera. So I got rid of all of my, I had the Canon, the Sony. You're spending all this money in this equipment. It wasn't being used. It's bulky. It's, you got to buy all these different lenses. I just tapped out. I'm like, I'm done. I can't be doing that no more. So I just use my phone. I have another phone that is basically my camera, and that's all I use it for. It's not connected to anything. I don't use it for anything else. And then these are my drives. So this one's a 2 terabyte. Imagine this little thing. Speaking of drives inside, this little thing is a 2 terabyte. I remember when we were lucky to get like a 8 MB, 16. No, those were gigs. 8 gig was plenty. Like 512 before you even got to 8 gig. No, what was it? I don't remember the sizes now, but anyway, it's nothing now to get these in 1 and 2 terabytes. And this is the size, honey child. So one side is USB-A. That's the regular USB. And then the other side, which I plug into my phone, is a little USB-C. So anything I just want to download from my phone, because for a minute it was hard to download stuff from an Apple device. You had to connect it to computer and do this and that and whatever. Now it's so easy. I just transfer the files here. And then this is another one that I use. This one's a little bit bulkier. I can't remember how many terabytes this one is. This one claims it's super fast. But yeah, so when I go and do like a lot of my remote interviews and stuff like that, I use my phone because now that's 4K, 8K, whatever. And then I just put it on one of these drives and I'm good to go. So I do have a, what you call like the multi-port USB hub. And then I plug these and stuff in there. But yeah, those are great. Technology is changing. And here, the point I'm trying to make with probably this discussion this morning is Mellow Fellow says, yes, the MP3 format gave rise to the iPod. Remember when we had those? Which link, Jerry, are you looking for the CD player? Because here's the point. Technology is not going to ever stop. So AI is here whether you like it or not. And yes, AI will somebody, it's going to take your job. Yes, it may take your job, but AI will only take your job if you are one of those people who can't get with the times. You don't understand AI. Like me, maybe you were afraid of it and you refused to learn anything. So last year, I threw my hat in the ring and I said, okay, I give up. AI is not going anywhere. I might as well learn how to use it. And then I become more efficient, more effective. I save time. And so it ain't going to be replacing me anytime soon because I am using AI as a tool. And that's how you got to look at it. Don't be afraid that technology, artists are like, oh my God, AI is going to, steal steal music from me and I'll never be able to compete with an AI, what do you call it? I'll never be able to compete with an AI artist. Well, maybe you can't compete with him because the words don't mean shit to me. I keep forgetting one of his songs has a little, Frank, don't get upset. I mean, who can compete with him? I made mistakes, I've done my time. I mean, but see, he's the guy. Let me be clear now. The music is AI, right? And the artist name, whatever his name. But this guy in the video, he's making bag off of basically lip syncing to the AI songs. And I mean, look at him. This is like eye candy on steroids. You can't help yourself. So I like it. I'm like, yes. Combine, maybe this guy can't even sing at all. I don't know. But you know what? He's got the looks. He's got a couple moves, nice white pearly teeth. Beautiful eyes. You can't tell how pretty his eyes are, I think, in the black and white, but they're actually really, really nice eyes. So, he's doing all these videos, all these shorts. And I love this because he can, make money off of this as well. So, why not? I'm here for it. I like it. So he does a lot of these by remind me of the artist name again, my AI guy that I love the songs, but I also really like him. There's a couple others that the whole person doing it is AI, but you know, he's a real guy and he's like animated. And I mean, you gotta give him props for the tattoos and everything. And, you know, so you just gotta learn how to utilize these tools. Nothing is going to change and the world will leave you behind if you can't. If you're sitting here right now thinking, oh, you know, Sandy, all I got is a vinyl. Look at how left behind you must feel right about now. You gotta stay up with the times. Jerry, what's up me? And I'll give you some details. Alba, good morning. Buenos dias. It's like the whole Spanish thing. I was chuckling to myself when people are now complaining, you know, Americans, over 40 million Americans speak Spanish. How many Americans are there? I'll have to look it up. Over 40 million Americans speak Spanish. And they're up in their feelings because the Super Bowl was in Spanish. What did that lady say? Kelly, what's her name? This is not the Latin Super Bowl. And we don't want to hear no African American. What's the song that they sing at the beginning? Oh Lord, I've forgotten. What's it called again? What is the American thing that they sing at the beginning of every Super Bowl and like baseball games? The national anthem. There we go. We don't want no black national anthem. She was really up in her feelings. I'm like, girl, what is wrong with you? 350 million Americans? Okay. A large portion of them speak Spanish. Some only speak Spanish. A large portion are bilingual. And yet they're regressing where they don't want to speak any other language. Only good old-fashioned American. And I'm like, well, American ain't a language, but anyway, English. Hold on. Let me see if I have this video. There's a video that I was watching that was so funny with Trevor Noah. He was saying that, you know, he's like, you know, he's really, remember he's the one who did the Grammys, right? And he was singing a little bit with the same guy, Bad Bunny. So he says that he's fluent in Spanish. Let me see if I can find the video. I'm not going to tell you guys the rest of it because you got to see it. It's really quite funny, actually. Let me see if I can find it. Videos that you've watched. This one really had me in stitches. I thought this is so funny. Today is what, the 12th? Okay, I watched this a couple days ago. I think it was yesterday. And I just thought it was funny about how we think about languages and stuff, you know. So a lot of people are like, no, he should be speaking in English. And the thing that is low-key crazy about it is instead of people thinking, oh, I could actually learn another language. No. Don't get it confused. Americans like, we ain't learning nothing. The world needs to slow down to suit us. Mm-hmm. Wonk wonk. Okay. Here she is. This is what she said.
I got up this morning and I watched it all without reading anything about it. I just thought I want to watch this completely clean without anyone's view contaminating my brain cells. And I watched all 15 minutes of it. And I've watched every halftime show going back 30, 40 years. I thought as a piece of theatre, it was the best I've seen. Just the most extraordinary kind of Broadway on steroids piece of theatre. I also thought it wasn't remotely divisive politically in the end. His Grammys speech was, but his performance, I thought, was actually a lot of things which I would have thought people on the conservative right would applaud. It was about love. A couple actually got married for real in the middle of it. He was preaching about unity, not just the United States of America, but the wider Americas. What was the problem, Megan?
A certain male gesture is coming to mind, but I'm not sure I can do it on this show. No, it wasn't about what he was actually going to do during the middle of the Super Bowl performance. It's about him. It's about him being chosen as the Super Bowl performer, somebody who's been an outspoken critic, of course, of the Trump administration and of America and our anti-immigrant policies. This is long before the current controversy over ICE. He doesn't want illegals deported from this country. Well, too bad, because the majority of Americans do want that and are not shy about pushing for it. And that's why President Trump got elected. So he and his little buddies over at Green Day never miss a chance to bash the United States of America. I think those medications for your hip have gone too far. We need to dial back a pill or two. OK, we want something that we can all understand. I don't think Bad Bunny used his appearance to bash America, but I can't be sure because I didn't see any subcaptions on his.
She didn't see any subcaptions on his Spanish language. This is so funny.
His Spanish
But
language.
what about Pavarotti? What about
Two
Pavarotti?
America haters.
What about Pavarotti, who Donald Trump in 2016 in particular would use at every campaign rally? He's used it at the RNC, right, as a triumphant, tub-thumping anthem. Well, no, hang on. Not only Pavarotti.
I've been to lots of Trump rallies. Pavarotti gets a song, maybe
but
two.
He sings. But when he sings Nessun Dorma in Italian, I don't see you leaping up and down and going, I can't understand a word of it.
There's another part of this interview where she talks about, the fact that it should be good old American English only. Now, this is really funny. Listen to Trevor's comedic take on this.
Spanish is flawless. The problem is I only speak like 7 words of Spanish. But those 7 words are flawless, which doesn't help me in so I'd start conversations with people in the morning, someone would see me and they'd be like, hola, and then I'd be like, hola, ¿cómo estás? And then they'd be like, oh, muy bien, ¿y tú? And I'd be like, oh, grande, muy bien. And they'd be like, oh, this is cool, And I'd meet people, I'd be like, hey, ¿cómo te llamas? And they'd be like, oh, mi nombre es Sonia. I'd be like, oh, and I'd get into a vibe, and I'd be with the people, I'd be asking people stuff, I'd be giving directions, and then I just run out, because I only learn as much as I can learn. But you don't know when you're going to run out. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'd be like, ¿Dónde está la catedral? And then the people are like, oh, la catedral. And then I'd be like, okay, I know that, and I'd give direction. Then someone would ask me, where's the cathedral? Then I know how to start the direction. So I'd be like, oh, en 200 metros, Sierra de la Cha. And then people are like, cool. And then the person goes, ¿Dónde está the city así? And then I'm like, oh, sorry, no. No habla. Mi no habla. And then the worst thing is even the way I'm saying, because I'll be like, no, mi no habla español, no habla español. Which is weird, because you should say mi no habla in the worst way you can. Which I didn't realize. Because I should have been like, oh, mi no habla español. But instead I was like, oh, mi no habla español, no habla español. Which is basically the equivalent of meeting someone and they came up to you and they're like, I'm sorry, I don't speak any English, I apologize. No, I speak no English whatsoever. Oh, I must apologize. Not a word of English. I'm so sorry.
It's so funny because low key, I can totally relate to what Trevor says. The little bit of Spanish that I know, you would almost think, sometimes I fool people, that I'm a native speaker. But then they want to have this long conversation with you. And I'm like, oh my God, no. We got to pump the brakes. Because then I can't remember any of the other words. My brain is like, hold on, you got to slow it down. If you slow it down, sometimes I'll remember certain. Yeah, that's when you're not fluent, but you're kind of 25% there. I can have a basic conversation in Spanish, so we can probably talk about the weather, maybe a little bit. I can do my greetings. You can tell me. You can ask you're hot, you're cold. You can tell me that you're going to the library, and I'm going to understand you. And then at some point, I'm like, shoot, let me take out my phone. So when I go to Miami, because, some people in Miami don't speak English, I'm going to be honest. They look at you and they're like, oh, ¿tú hablas español? No, too bad. They can keep it moving. So sometimes I'll take out my little translator thing and I'll be like, okay. And then I'll tell it what I want. Then I'll be like, escúchame, por favor. Listen to my phone. Oh my goodness, too funny. All right. Let's Oh, we got someone just sent a message, says working and looking great. It feels good to be protected just in case something happens. So last week when I was telling you guys about the guy who ran into the taxi driver after yamming a whole thing of food, you know, good thing he had that rear camera view. Someone was listening. They said, Sandy, I need 2 of those dash cams right now, today, please. I got them delivered and they just sent me a message saying, working and looking great. It feels good to be protected just in case something happens. Congratulations. Wonderful. Now, let me give you a bit of advice. You can actually turn off the display. So go into your settings. I don't have my display on all the time because sometimes it can be a little bit distracting, although when you look at it, it tells you your miles per hour. So that's good to remind you of your speeds. But yeah, sometimes that can be a little bit distracting. So I tend to turn it off after a couple seconds. So you can do that, just FYI. And hold on one second here. Yeah. So yeah, these dash cams, this is like having insurance in your car, additional insurance policy. Because, you know, there's so many bad drivers out there that you got to be catching stuff on these crazy roads. So I'm glad that you got your dash cams installed. Well worth it. Well worth it. Trust me. But make sure you go in, you turn on, there's certain settings now, honey child, that you got to turn on. So make sure you do that, especially with parking mode. So there's a couple different options for parking mode as well. So unlike a lot of these dash cams, you're like, oh, well, you can go buy a dash cam for $100. Yes, you can. But you're not going to get the kind of features that you're getting in this one. So the beauty of this is it has parking mode. And you can set up parking mode to be triggered by different things. So for example, one of the things that you can tell it in parking mode is, do you want it to be triggered by motion? You know, somebody walks by the car, it starts to record. Some of y'all need that when you got multiple people you're seeing and, you know, your other girlfriend trying to spy on you or maybe come and scrape up your car because she's pissed off at you that you keep dating so-and-so. So you've got that option. You can do motion because people hit you when you're parked. And so, you know, you turn that on. It's got 4K with this thing called triple starvis, which is basically the technology that makes the license plates more visible. So those are really good, low light capability. You get 5 things in this kit. Somebody's asking for the price, $450. And I'm telling you, they're like $400 on Amazon. If you go on Amazon right now, you know, and of course we got to add in shipping and all that kind of stuff, right? So 24/7 parking surveillance mode. That's one of the nice features about this camera. That's why I had to change it, because my other one didn't have parking mode and I had a situation. And because parking mode was not on that one, I didn't catch the culprit. Now I'm going to catch you. You can download the video straight to your phone. You can send it, you know, you can post it right on social media if you wanted to. You could send it to like WhatsApp. You can save it on the phone. So voice control, built-in GPS, optional 4G remote monitor, wireless OTA update. So you never have to like take it down to update it. It'll just do it over the air. So lots of really, really good features and an 18-month warranty. So it comes with the warranty when you purchase it with us. All right. Give me a message. Shoot me a message if you're interested. But we have them in all of our vehicles. And like Jim said, you definitely get what you pay for. That is so true. All right, shameless plug there. Inspiring says America is our continent, not the USA. They forget that too. Some Americans forget that, which is kind of sad because they think America is just the United States of America, which these days they need to change their name because they're not all that united anymore. Also, I love the way how he told them with Ricky Martin, let's not allow the same thing to happen to Puerto Rico that happened to Hawaii. You know, I didn't realize the situation in Hawaii was so bad. Americans have basically taken Hawaii and made it into like a oh my God, I hear the poverty levels and stuff in Hawaii for the natives is really, really poor. Gosh, I did not know that. Poor Hawaiians. Oh, so sad. I was watching a video about that this morning too. Where did I put that one? Yeah, there's so much that I have been learning as a result of even this Super Bowl situation about Puerto Rico that I didn't know. I've never been to Puerto Rico. Mind you, there's a lot of the United States that I haven't been to that I really should perhaps go check out as well. But right now ain't the time to be checking out nothing in America. I hate to tell you, but I'm one of those people at the moment. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go in Friday morning and come out Friday night. So when the agent, when you go through immigration, they're like, how long are you here for? Tonight? No. When are you leaving? Tonight? They almost can't believe their ears. They're like, what? Yeah. We're going to be in your country 12 hours and then we're leaving. They're like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. What a mess. What do my Honduran friends say? Okay, let me see if I can remember. Que planchera. That's like the equivalent of saying, what a mess. All right, let me see now. There was something else I was looking for. I'm going to find the video about Hawaii and I'm going to post that up later on because it is really, really interesting. I had no idea about Hawaii. When are you coming back? 105 is in Miami. We listened to that too. I just told you I'm not coming. No. No, gracias. Mm-hmm. All right, honey child, Cuba. Aw, I'm feeling so bad right now for Cuba. Somebody was reminding me yesterday. They said, but Sandy, those poor Cubans really going through it right now. And I feel bad for them, not just because we have family in Cuba, because child, I'll be forgetting about the family. Poor them. I mean, I'm not really in direct contact with them. My uncle used to do, he was the head of the family and he would, help them and send them money and go and visit them and all kind of stuff. Me, I think I met them like once or something. And me and my, broken Spanish was talking to him. But I don't really know him. But I feel for all Cuban people right now who were living there because they also got hit, rightfully so. Somebody would say, remember, they got hit by Melissa as well. And nobody here was galvanizing to send the poor Cubans, nothing. No one was really helping. So unfortunately, Cuba right now is in a free fall. So yesterday, Cayman Airways made the announcement that some of their flights going into Havana might be disrupted, because of what's happening there. And so we saw the press release. I know we touched on it a little bit yesterday. And I had to reach out to Cayman Airways with some more questions because I'm thinking, okay, that jet, we have the 787-8, basically the MAX 8, but they rename them. And I said, those, they can go long distances. Well, what's the problem? I mean, certainly we can fly from here to Cuba and back. And they said, it's not just the fuel. You're thinking very linear. This is why you got to ask questions sometimes, because I'm no aviation expert. I don't know how all this works. And they said, no, not just the fuel. We're thinking much broader than that. We need fuel for ground equipment, not about the fuel for the jet. We need fuel for ground equipment. There are hotels and food for the crew and passengers, potential unrest because of what's happening there. So they're very closely monitoring the situation in Havana, but they're giving people the heads up of what's happening there now may actually impact our ability to go into Havana. And I thought, my God, those poor people, they rely on tourism. They need that money. Although it's not really coming from the US. And I was, as part of my tutorial, it's so funny because I told you guys yesterday I had to quick time get off of the show because I had a tutorial from my school that I'm doing, my course that I'm doing at 10 o'clock. And so we have to submit articles that we've written and then we get graded on them and whatever. And so my tutor was saying, well, what are you working on currently that you might submit for your next tutorial? I said, actually, I was going to do something on the whole Cuban situation. And so, he's all the way in the UK. He's like, oh, the Cuban situation, what's going on? So I had to kind of talk to him a little bit about what's happening in Cuba and how it has this kind of domino effect around the region. And, we will be getting more and more migrants because of this. So the government also, I don't know if you guys saw this story or not, but the government also issued a statement that they're basically setting aside land for this potential migration surge. This is serious. We need to pay attention to this, right? So they're setting aside, let me see. How much did they say? 8 acres? I don't know where they're getting eight acres from, but Cuban still got land. Hold on a second. Let me read the story. You see, I don't write a lot of these stories on the website, so I have to go read them myself. All right, so they've set up this mass migration committee. So the government, or Cayman Islands government, has established a multi-agency mass migration committee to address a potential surge in migration. So right now we have 26 Cuban migrants. Remember at one time we had like over 100 and we were able to get it down. We just had 10 that came in the other day via Little Cayman. And lately they've been coming through the BRAC and Little Cayman, right? And so this MMC, this Mass Migration Committee, has been established via the Ministry of District Administration and Home Affairs. So that's the Honorable Nicholas, that's the Honorable Nicholas da Costa. And so I like that the government is preparing. You see, this makes sense, a little bit of foresight, because experience has taught us that the worse things get in Cuba, for those people, the more of them are going to take chances and leave the country, because they really put their lives on the risk, their lives on the line. When, I guess they feel like, what's the worst that can happen? Even if you die in the high seas, for some of them, they believe that that is better than the opposite, which is staying there and starving to death, or, having absolutely no chance whatsoever. I really feel sorry for them. Oh my gosh. It's so sad. Okay. So they're going to be leaving in larger numbers, essentially, is what the government recognizes. Again, history has taught us this. So the Honorable Nicholas da Costa, who's Minister for District Administration and Home Affairs, confirmed that the government's approach to irregular migration is grounded in lawful control, humanitarian duty of care, and national security considerations, right? And again, we feel sympathetic towards the people of Cuba. Obviously, they're going through a lot. But it doesn't mean that we have the capacity to just open their borders and say, oh, come on, come. How many people are in Cuba? A couple million? Let me check. Hold on. I'll tell you. So as much as we feel sorry for people, Cuban population numbers. Let's see. Okay, so 9.7 to 10 million people in Cuba. Declining in recent years due to low birth rates, aging, and immigration. So the estimates reported an effective population, which is an interesting term, of 10 million, a little bit over 10 million as of 2023. And then they did international projections estimate their population in 2025 at about 9.7 million. And then other economic forecasts suggest the population could fall towards the 9.6 million, 9.5 million for this year, for 2026. So they have a population that is elderly and that is shrinking because of deaths and immigration outpacing the birth rate. So they're having a decline actually in their population. So of that, Havana, which is the urban, the capital, has about more than 2.1 million residents. That's in the 2010s. And they haven't really seen the broader demographic, my apologies, decline. And of course, the Trump administration, despite what the Latinos for Trump thought was going to happen, he has also been deporting those individuals, the Cubans, in record numbers as well, sending them back to Cuba. So it is a difficult situation because my heart bleeds for them on the one hand, completely. I'm very, very sympathetic to their plight. And I think that, it's easy for us because a lot of us have never had to migrate anywhere else for opportunities. You see, I've done a migration for opportunities. When I moved to the United States of America at the age of 9, that's what that was. I was only 9. I didn't have a complex conversation about what that meant. But the only reason that I went was for opportunities. Opportunity at a better home environment, more stable home environment, opportunities for better education opportunities. And if I wanted to stay, possibly, a better life. So when I became an adult, I made the decision that, the last 15 years has been an amazing experience. I've learned a lot. It was interesting living in somebody else's country. I could never place a dollar amount on that in terms of the experiences, the good, the bad, everything shaped me into who I am and gave me a worldview that I think is really, really important. And more people need to migrate abroad and live in somebody else's country for a minute. But, I was like, I want to go back to my country. I want to see what's going on in my little island, which at that point I knew nothing about really, couldn't remember much before I left at the age of 9. I'm like, well, what's Cayman all about? You see, I'm a firm believer in this. There's one principle that I hold very, very true. And I was even having this conversation with someone yesterday of Jamaican heritage. I said to them, I would never encourage someone to go to somebody else's country and suffer more in their country than your own country. To me, that's illogical. So even when we're talking about this wannabe boss man doing his videos and complaining about how Caymanians are treating Jamaicans, I say, stick a pin, okay? This is a big if Caymanians are mistreating you in this country, and I don't care where you're from, if you're not a Caymanian and you're here and you're being mistreated and your life is worse here than it is in your own country, I beg you, I will help you leave Cayman. Because from a humanitarian perspective, that should never be allowed, right? But you ultimately have decisions and you have the power in your own hands. If you're not Caymanian, you have somewhere else to go. Now you're somewhere else. I get what you guys are saying. I'm here for the money, that somewhere else isn't all that great, but you got to choose. You've got to make decisions. And under no circumstances would I go to somebody else's country and be treated worse than I would in my own country. Go back home. You've got family. I know in Cayman, no Caymanian living here is going to starve. I don't care what people want to tell you. Oh, this person's homeless on a bench and this and that. No Caymanian in this country is going to starve. We have food banks, right? What you see a lot of times is people who are suffering from drug addictions and mental health. They're on the streets, but even to them, they're not skinny because they're starving, They're skinny because smoking too many, crack rocks makes you skinny, apparently. That's one of the side effects. But those people will eat. They can call or find people who are going to give them a plate of food. We are not going to let anybody in this country starve. Our government has committed themselves that, okay, maybe children are not getting enough food at home. They're not getting enough nutrition. So now we have set up a program where you get free meals in the schools. breakfast and lunch. Hopefully you can get dinner at home. Now, these kids have it so good that they're so ungrateful. They're out here wasting food from the cafeteria, complaining about the food that they're not getting enough. I've seen parents message me, Sandy, look at this is a small portion of food. My child not getting no food. He's soon lose weight. And I'm looking at him going, child, your son could do with losing weight. Have you seen the child is overweight? But we become so used to a gluttonous system where, you stretched out your poor child's little stomach that he don't know when he's full. He doesn't know the 80 rule, the 80-20 rule. Stop at 80%, drink water, and that got finished filling you up. They get snacks too? Lord have mercy. And y'all still complaining. Oh, they're not giving him enough. Look at this little bit of mac and cheese. He used to 5 scoops. I said, Lord Jesus. We don't know anything about portion controls, but that's a whole other conversation. Right? So the government has stepped up. They've admitted that maybe there are some children who are not getting access to, decent food in their homes. But I'm going to be honest with you. In a lot of those homes, I'm not denying that there's a degree of poverty here that might exist. But in a lot of those homes, people are picking and choosing what they're going to spend their money on, because I see those same parents have time to be going out, dressing up, getting hair done, braids that cost hundreds of dollars to get put in. All this hair by the pound, fake hair. They're getting nails done. They always on point, always beat. And then they talk about they not got money for food. Well, that's a matter of priorities, in my opinion. Stop getting your nails done. Do them at home. You can learn how to do these things yourself. Not do them at all. Just keep them short and put a little clear nail polish on it. You'll be fine. You don't have to go get all these expensive braids, fake braids put in your hair. That's hundreds of dollars every time you do that. Right? You got to have particular cars and you got to dress up particular. It's like, come on. Food isn't cheap, but if you prioritize and spent your money on food, you would be okay. Remember when I was telling you guys during COVID, there was a particular family. They were always going on, big time PPM supporters, of course. But they were always going on and on about, PPM is the bomb and they're so amazing and Windsor Park crew. And then always flossing. And you see this now, these are the conversations that we need to be having, right? I'm talking about Andreas Pugh. I gotta tell y'all. So when they got COVID, I mean, mind you, every 2 minutes, this guy was flossing his Audi. Was it an Audi? Some Audi that he brought in from Japan, went and got it all tricked out with this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I got to tell y'all a joke about him. Oh, my God. And so he always talk about how much money they making every time on the gram, on Facebook, going out to restaurants. Oh, we're at Casanova's again. You do the math. If you eat out at a restaurant every single day, there's no restaurant in Cayman that you can go to really and have a sit-down meal that's as nice as Casanova's and you walking out of there and not spending more than $25. Plus, taking the kids, 3-4 kids, and the wife, so you do the math. The second he gets locked down for COVID or the family got COVID, okay, we ain't got no money. We need somebody to help with groceries. I'm like, wait a minute. How do you go from eating out at Casanova's every day with this bowl of pasta and going to all these restaurants, always posting it on social media, to all of a sudden you don't have no groceries in your house? Help me understand how that happened. Okay, all right, well, bless his little heart. Alric and other people in the community stepped up and helped out, right? I said, later on, there was another request for food. I said, okay. I said, there's certain people I don't even trust to give a foster's card to. Because, when people are on drugs, they go and they sell the foster's cards to get the drugs. They'll do a barter exchange. They either sell it to get the money, or they give them the foster's card, which might be the equivalent of $100, $200, whatever, in exchange for the drugs. So you can't give them anything of value that they can easily convert. Right? So I said, no. You give me the shopping list. I will go shopping and buy you necessities. Here's the biggest joke. I got the shopping list that was the COVID shopping list. They didn't even bother taking it off of the top, just forwarded me the same shopping list. And you know the things that I saw on there that made me understand what is wrong with us as Caymanian people and how we think? We not righted. Not at all. Because I saw steak on the menu and I was like, blouse and skirts. Look here now. How you gonna put steak on the menu? Steak? I said to myself, I gotta show y'all the menu because I know y'all don't believe me. This is 2013. I know y'all looking at me like I'm crazy this morning. You're like, Sandy, stop lying on people. I hear you. And y'all know I don't lie. And I like to have my receipts. So let me show you the list because this is when I know Caymanians who claim that they're poor and they're in need, right? Y'all don't know. You don't know anything about real poverty. Y'all are spoiled beyond belief. Gabby said, don't come for the lashes now, Jim. That's my little side hustle. Oh, do you do lashes for people? Child, even to them expensive. Okay. You tell me if this looks like people in need, poor people who really need some help, or if this is just unadulterated greed. Okay. This was a list I got. Soap. Okay. I don't know what kind of soap. Bread, butter, bread times 2. When you asking people to help you, okay, you need a helping hand up. Shouldn't be a handout. You can't be putting no 7-bone steak on the list. What the blinkety blink is a 7-bone steak even? Well, what is that? I don't know what a seven-bone steak is. I can afford steak and I don't even buy steak. Like what? What is this? Beef bolognese? What the heck? Beef bolognese? You better take yourself some ground turkey and some ground beef and make your own damn bolognese. Shampoo and conditioner. Okay. Was that supposed to be T-bone steak? Is that what the 7-bone steak is? T-bone. Oh, maybe. Okay. Shampoo and conditioner. Chicken curry pre-season times 2. Once again, you know when you buy the pre-season curry chicken, it costs more money. You buy your own. Listen, this is what poor people would have to do. Now, first of all, if you're really poor, you know all them fowl that we have around the place? You go and grab one of them, like how my mother used to do. Pluck it. I've seen a chicken defeathered and chopped up and put in a pot. Okay, but we forgot those days, honey child. We can't do that no more. Yeah? But you can still get, you go to Progressives and you can still get the big case of chicken. You can season that up yourself. You get the big containers of curry. You get your fresh onions and bell pepper. You put your curry, your seasoning on yourself. When you have Foster's or Colonel's or whoever pre-season the chicken for you, you get that at a premium price. Now, if you can afford it, that's your business. I bought pre-seasoned curry chicken before, and then I add all my other fresh seasoning. No problem. But it wasn't in a time of need when I'm out there saying that I can't afford food. So, curry chicken pre-seasoned, butter, bagels, cream cheese, hair gel. That was another one that I had to pause that and go, look, you know, hair gel. You don't need hair gel. Once your hair is clean, just pull it back. You're a man, you can go without hair gel. Just cut it low. You don't need no gel in your hair. Apple juice, orange juice. Y'all need to stop drinking those juices. Is that XL? Energy drink times 10. Another thing that nobody in their right mind who's asking for assistance would dare put energy drinks are horrible for you, but beyond that point, is that a necessity for life? You're a poor person and you need to eat. You really need energy drinks? Roar says that list's getting expensive too. All right, oranges, lettuce, ranch dressings, at least I can have a salad, apples, grapes, bacon, eggs times 2, microwave dinners. Microwave dinners. Like what? Pizza for the oven. Chicken tenders. Kraft cheese slices. Beef is on the list again. I guess that's separate from beef bolognese. Again, if you got beef, you can make your own bolognese. But anyway, cream cheese made the list twice. A1 sauce, because apparently poor people need steak, T-bone steak or whatever it is, and A1 sauce. And oatmeal cookies. This is the COVID list. And then this was a list that was, you're down and out, you need a little bit of help, sent out again, the non-COVID list and the COVID list. Plain and straight says, here, gel to stay home with COVID. You see, this is our people. These are Caymanians sometimes, not everybody. I'm not putting everybody in the same pot. Understand me clearly. Now, when I compare this situation to the poor Cubans that have come here, who I have helped, I have gone grocery shopping and taken stuff for them. In fact, I told them, listen, I can just give you the gift card because I realized that a lot of them were pooling their resources together, pooling their food. They could cook one big pot and they all kind of try to take out of that and share. They were also hoarding their food because sometimes they're like, I only get this little allotment from the government. I can't afford to share that with everyone. And some of them up and they would be stealing each other food. Yeah. And so they were like, I got to put my food under lock and key. Do you guys remember me going and doing that interview? You need to go look at the video. Those people were living in deplorable conditions. So as much as I'm like, okay, you can't stay in our country. I'm sorry. We can only take so much. I don't want anybody, Cubans or anybody else, to come here and suffer. Right? That shouldn't be something that any of us think is a good thing in our own country. Caymanians shouldn't be here suffering. But what I want to say is a large number of Caymanians who are suffering are doing so because of their own poor decisions. Sometimes the system has kind of set you up from day one. You grew up in a home that you thought it was normal to put this kind of stuff in a list. You think it's normal for your children to be obese and eating out in these restaurants all the time and overeating. And there are times that I have very, very hard conversations with people. So when I say, no, you can't get no T-bone steak, that's not a necessity. Bread, butter, eggs, yeah. Not even orange juice you need. You don't need the apple juice. Water. Drink some water. You don't need oatmeal cookies. Okay, some kind of meat. Chicken is the cheapest meat. So we'll give you some chicken. You don't need hair gel. You don't need energy drinks. You don't need no pizza for the oven. You don't need microwave dinners. And you know what else? You know what else kind of conversation I had? I said, listen, I'm not trying to insult you and your family. Okay? Beggars can't be choosers. But when you have children, young children, that are obese and overweight, you're feeding them too much and probably too much of the wrong kind of food. So you've got to teach them some sense of portion control and self-control. Right? Children don't need to be eating 24/7. When they go out, they get a big bowl of pasta for themselves. It's like, why? At age 5, you guys stop giving them the child portions because their little stomach's so stretched out. And I said, this is a real conversation now. This is what I said. You need to talk to your kids, right? And it's hard, especially when kids are in middle and high school. You know, people, if they think, oh, they're poor, whatever, they can make fun of them. And that's not nice. But you also need to have real conversations with your kids. Like, listen, Mommy can't afford that. Or when we sit down, you can only get 1 scoop of rice instead of 4. Because right now, Mom is not working, Dad is not working. We simply don't have the resources for you to be eaten like there's no tomorrow, like there's no ending to the food. We have to share more. And if you're not really hungry, don't eat just because, you're used to constantly gorging on food. I'm willing to bet right now, if some of you are listening to this conversation, you're struggling, you complain about your grocery list, you're struggling, and you've never had a conversation with your children about cutting back in life. You've never had a conversation with your kids about portion control. You want the government to solve all of your problems. Oh, well, as a Caymanian, I deserve this and that. You don't deserve anything just because you're a Caymanian. The world that we live in doesn't give you handouts. Okay? A helping hand is one thing. A handout and an expectation is a whole other cup of tea. So I'm going to encourage you guys. Look at the plight of other people, even in the region. God, we can't even touch Haiti. That is extreme poverty, right? We do have to have a little bit of humanity about us when we look at Cubans who are coming here. Mia Motley, I saw something yesterday that she said, I'm going to play this for you. Shaka says gluttony. Unfortunately, we've been raised that way. Lizette says, I give God thanks for government and citizens who handle COVID very well compared to other countries. Roar says, in this, just go get what you think they need. Don't bother ask for no list. Well, you asked for a list to give you some guidance because you were hoping there was already something in the fridge. So maybe everything wasn't needed. That was the point of asking for a list, to say, okay, if you already got some stuff, let me not assume you need eggs if you already got eggs in the fridge. So you don't want to buy stuff that people, don't need. Lizette said, very expensive list. Hope you had enough cash. Well, I had to shop like I was shopping for myself on a budget. And there have been times that there's certain things I go to the grocery store I can't afford to get. I've been through that phase in my life. And what you can't afford to get, you can't hair products. I couldn't afford to go to no salon. I'd wash my own hair and pull it back. Our people have really, sometimes their expectations are not properly aligned. Like really, really. I already talking about no bull of beef. But I want us to think about immigration and migration a little bit differently. Have a listen to what Mia Motley had to say on this subject.
Fear that the conversation about immigration and migration is rooted in racism rather than rooted in the needs of a country. I think that people are fearful of becoming a minority in their own country, and that's natural. You can't think that. But at the same time, without the influx of people, you're not going to be able to stabilize or get the growth that you need as a country. And one of the problems is that in the world, we have worked out how to move money. Nobody worries about how to move money globally. But as soon as you start talking about moving people, everybody gets nervous. And in December 2018, I think, at the OACP, Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States in Nairobi, I made the point, and I continue to make it, that we need a proper deal for migrants. And this notion of people having to drown just because they want a better life when countries elsewhere actually need them and can provide opportunity and dignity to them, something is fundamentally wrong.
So, there you go. She makes a point, but you have to understand, and she also acknowledges, she said she gets it. Because as Caymanian, we feel the encroachment. Small space, lots of people coming in. And you look at some of these people and your perception is they're doing better than me in my own country. And that shouldn't be. And so there's a lot of questions about why is that? But I also agree with her that although it's natural to feel that way, right? She said she believes a lot of that, especially in the context of certain countries, is actually rooted in racism. And it is, because that's when you look at their policies. Like, they only complain about illegals coming from certain places, and they're only targeting illegals from like Latin America, South America, basically people considered brown people, Black people, Haitians, and so on. They're not looking at the illegals from Europe. Why do you think we never hear anything about illegal people being arrested and targeted that are coming from Europe, from Russia, from all those places? You don't think that they're illegals from those countries as well? I'm just saying. So she acknowledges this very complex issue around immigration and migration. In the Cayman context, right? One of the reasons why we feel this encroachment on us is because we do have people here who don't understand our culture, who don't know our culture, and then a lot of times they don't care about our culture either. They're just coming here to better their lives. If it's 5 years, 10 years, some might stay longer. Some might get that piece of paper, become Caymanians themselves, as long as it's convenient for them. And I always chuckle when I hear an expat who has been here long enough and they've gotten status, then say, oh my God, now that I have status, it's so hard to get a job. And I'm just like, really? You were having a better time or easier time getting a job on a work permit? That's basically what they just told me. And now that you have Cayman status and you're a Caymanian, now you're having a challenging time. And you look at them, you go, welcome to the club. Because there is some truth to that. It's a hot mess. It's a very complicated situation from the perspective that we have people who are qualified, Caymanians who are well qualified, who work hard and is still not being given the opportunities to advance in companies and organizations in their own country. Then we also have people who are not making the mark, right? They're the ones who embarrass us. Even if they're educated, they don't want to show up to work, or they don't want to show up to work on time. Every single holiday, the next day afterwards, they're going to take a day off. Those are the people. They might only be 10% or even 5% of any workforce, but they're the ones that are amplified and make us all look bad. And that's why they want to class us as, oh, Caymanians are lazy and Caymanians don't want to work. And I have to pump the brakes and say, listen, some of the hardest working people that I have ever met were Caymanians. But we are now being undermined by the 5%ers, maybe 10%, who are lazy, who don't want to work, who want you to hand them a T-bone steak instead of them going out there and working for their own T-bone steak. And so all of this gets thrown into the mix. Then we have boats coming here from Cuba. So of course, then our feelings get displayed against them. And I have to say, what is it that a Cuban national is going to be coming here and taking from you, other than maybe your man? Because some of y'all, that's a reality too. Because y'all have married no good men. But other than that, what do you think that they're going to come and take from you? People who are less advantaged than you, who are disadvantaged in life, right? Who know real poverty, who have nothing. You believe they're the people who are a threat to you? I don't think that they are a threat to you at all. But you see, we get caught up in our feelings and our emotions. And yes, inherently as human beings, we are prejudiced. We have to work to not be. We have to work to not judge everybody with the same very broad paintbrush. Right? We have to say, no, wait a minute. Not all Jamaicans are like this. Not all Caymanians are like this. Not all people from Georgetown are this way, or people from West Bay, because as human beings, we want to clump people together in ways that are just easy for us to categorize. Good morning, caller.
Hey, Sandy.
Hey.
With all due respect, please hear me out. I think we're all more prejudiced than we want to admit. I think some people are a little bit more biased than other people. I think that saying certain things about America or Americans is, and as you said, and I've mentioned, clumping them all or all of us into one basket is most unfortunate, most unfair, because not everyone is like that.
Yep.
And when it comes to why there is so much support for illegal immigration and to get them out of the United States of America, is because of what it is costing the American taxpayer, which is enormous. And the way they treat other people, not all, but many treat other people. When they think it's okay, like in Cayman, to fly their flag bigger and better and prouder than the American flag, no, unacceptable. When they take money to live off of and do nothing to contribute, no, not acceptable. And also, I will say, and I know this for facts, I had a neighbor once upon a time back in the States. It was a married couple. They were from two different countries. One of them was sent, was when they did that, I can't remember what they called it, when they got rid of all the Cubans, emptied out their jails, prisons, and sent them to the U.S. Merrill Boatlift or whatever that was called. Okay, he did not have American citizenship. He was there for years. He was married. They had 3 children. They lived better than I did. They had a TV in the living room, 3-bedroom rental with a TV, color TV in all 3 bedrooms, 2 vehicles that he didn't even drive. They paid minuscule for rent. They had food stamps and always had food, plenty of food. But yet I struggled to make my mortgage payment, and I worked a full-time job and a part-time job. And I will also say, let me finish. I will also say my father served 28 years in the military, Sandy. He served the United States of America. He fought in World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, and was prisoner of war. And when there's people that will fly the U.S. flag upside down, they're disgusting. When people will burn an American flag, they're disgusting. When they stomp on an American flag, they're disgusting. And I don't care if this is protesters that are Americans or who they are. They're disgusting as far as I'm concerned. And what Biden's administration allowed to happen to the U.S., nobody had any choices that were American taxpayers. They had to put up with it. They had to deal with it. And they are, and I'll say we are still putting up with it, and we're still dealing with it. But everything's turned on the people that are disgusted and fed up with this type of situation. So until people have walked in those shoes and lived that life, and just because there's one man that so many people hate, or one administration that so many people hate, don't say all Americans, because that's not the way we are. We are good-hearted. We put up with a lot, we deal with a lot, we give a lot. But the U.S. is not a charity either. But yet we send billions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, out to other countries on a continual basis.
Not anymore. Let's be clear. The Trump administration has stopped that.
Sandy, wait, it had to stop somewhere.
Okay. Well, he stopped it.
Let me finish. When we're paying 30 to 40% of our tax dollars, our hard-earned tax dollars, out of our pockets to help all this shenanigans, I'm sorry. No, we don't go out every day working a 40, 50, 60, 70-hour work week, try to support our family, feed our family, and live the American dream when you can't afford it anymore because of the shenanigans that has been put forth. I am not going to say Trump's to blame. I'm not going to say Biden's to blame. The whole government system is to blame.
And guess what? The funding that he has stopped going to poor people in Africa is not going to change how much you're going to pay in taxes. What he is doing with his millionaire friends and not making them pay the same tax bracket and the same tax rate that you paid. Trump got away with paying no taxes for years. That's why he's now trying to sue the IRS, because by them allowing his tax records to be released, you could see that the man paid no taxes despite claiming to be a billionaire. That is why y'all are paying such ridiculous rates.
You know why, Sandy? Because there's a loop in the tax system. Trump did not create this loop in the tax system. The U.S. government created this loop in the tax system where certain companies don't have to pay taxes based on this particular loop in the tax system.
The point is, he's not going to be changing that. He's actually making it worse, right? He has no desire to change that. He's going to make it worse for you. And here's the other thing that I think you need to do when you talk about migrants in particular and how much they're paying or not paying and how much they're being supported. You need to go and have a look at the taxes that they actually contribute to, the Medicaid, the Medicare, that they will never be able to take advantage of. And they actually contribute to that. They pay taxes and pay into a system, a retirement system that they're not entitled to get any benefits off of. Those are the facts.
Well, Sandy, let me make this perfectly clear. I do not disregard immigration. I believe in legal immigration. Come into the country just like I did Cuban, the legal way, the proper way, and did everything I was supposed to do to be able to be here, live here, work here, and thrive here. And if anybody has a problem with the U.S. doing what U.S. does, well, then let Cayman operate the way the U.S. does and see how Caymanians feel. Open up the borders to Cayman and let everybody and their mother into the country.
But Jim, that doesn't make any sense, because when Trump supporters are ready, they say, "Oh, but wait, President Obama deported more people than President Trump has," and that's factually correct. Yeah. So for you to say that nobody else but Trump has been doing this is ridiculous. No one has an issue.
I didn't say.
Okay, but let me try to clarify something from my perspective, right? No one has an issue with having laws in place, having border control, and saying that if you've come here as an illegal immigrant, you will have to either regularize your situation or leave the country and be deported. It is how, try to understand this, it is how ICE has been weaponized and has been allowed to beat people, to kill people in custody, 35 people last year alone. It is the things that they are permitted to do, how they're doing it, that is the problem.
And open up that picture too, Sandy, about how many innocent victims have been killed by illegals.
Not as many.
I mean, we can go back and forth on this.
No, we can simply talk about the facts, to be honest. I mean, there's no back and forth. It's one thing to say, yes, we're not going to have illegal immigrants, but to try to vilify these people, to say they're the ones who are the crime lords and causing all this crime in America, simply isn't true.
No, I'm not. make it clear again. I did not say all. Just like I correct.
Well, again, I'm not saying all, but I'm talking about majorities here, right? The majority of illegal immigrants are not the ones who are breaking your laws. So what the media does and what the government does is whenever they found, well, I hear you, but listen to me now. When they find one migrant who is like, okay, this person has killed someone, all of a sudden they amplify that as though that person is responsible for killing 1 million people.
That's what media does.
Well, that's what your leaders do. That's what President Trump.
That's what media.
That is what President Trump has been doing. That is what his administration has been doing. Meanwhile, it's the average blue-blooded, run-of-the-mill American who's out there shooting up schools, killing children, molesting children, in the whole 9 yards. I'm not saying that immigrants are all perfect and they're all angels. No. But the vast majority of criminals, when you look at the breakdown of who is committing the crimes in the United States of America, it is born Americans, not illegal immigrants.
I would like to see, and I'm going to say this, I would like to see the truth of the Epstein files come out, and everybody and anybody that had anything to do with that go to prison.
So you're agreeing that President Trump should go to prison because you got enough facts there to make a call on this.
Sandy, I am not going to speculate anything.
Okay, that ain't speculation, Bobo.
Sandy, just like you have said before, everybody is innocent until proven guilty.
Okay.
In the courts of law.
Right.
You yourself.
Well, let me ask you in the court of public opinion now that we're dealing with, right? Do you really believe that President Trump, who the records reflect that an underage girl was taken to him for 20 minutes in private, what do you think he was doing with an underage girl in his presence at Mar-a-Lago, being brought to him by Epstein personally? You think they were discussing the weather? You think he was trying to teach that child something of value? The same man who has already been sued successfully for raping a woman, who has said publicly that he will grab women by the pussy, who is inappropriate with his own daughters. You actually think that man has a moral compass?
I hear you. And just what I said, all governments are guilty. All governments are corrupt. It's just
no. But let's not talk about all governments. Let's talk about Donald Trump.
No, I am not. No,
okay.
I am not going to bash one individual because. No, Sandy, you're being unfair right now.
No, I don't think I am.
But it's okay that Biden goes around touching little girls and sniffing their hair.
Touching what little girls? What are you talking about?
And taking a shower with his own daughter?
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Well, that's what's in her book, is it not?
I don't know anything about. I've never even heard that before. Okay.
All right.
Oh,
well,
okay.
And you didn't see on national TV where he was.
Well, I can read the
sniffing their hair.
Nope, but I can certainly read the Epstein files, where he constantly lies that he was even friends with the man, that he's never been to Epstein Island, that he wasn't inviting him over to Mar-a-Lago and all this kind of stuff. And the evidence is there.
What I just said, Sandy, if the records come out and
the records are there.
Listen to me. If the records come out and he is charged in the court of law, I support that just like I support any other person on that list that even touched a child. Don't loop me in the bad side of it because I'm not a bad person.
I'm not trying to loop you into anything. I'm just saying you're trying to defend something here, and
no, defend. I'm not defending. How would I defend him?
Well, it sounds like you're trying to defend him to me.
Okay, well, that's your interpretation, but I am not defending Donald Trump. I am not his cheerleader, and I've never been his cheerleader. I think he's an arrogant son of a bitch. But I'm not going to sit here with a clear conscience and guilt this individual until I have the proof that he has been charged and he goes to prison just like the rest of them. And it's not just Donald Trump in that government. It's not just Donald Trump in that government that's on that list.
Yeah.
There are many, many names, many, many billionaires, many, many government officials that are on that list. So if we're going to go after, let's go after them all.
All right.
And that's what I'm tired about the government and Pam Bondi and talking about all this BS and not, they've got a mouthful. They've got a mouthful, but they're not doing anything about it. It's a bunch of lip service that people are getting, and people are getting sick and tired of it, as I am getting sick and tired of listening to all this lip service, and nothing is actually being done. And why? Because it's government and they protect each other. Both the left and the right, they protect each other. So if I'm going to sit here and cheer on the left, no. Am I going to sit here and cheer on the right? No. Because they're both guilty of sin and they're both corrupt of sin.
All right. Leave me there. We got another caller trying to get on. Thank you very much.
Like I said, Sandy, this was all due respect.
Yeah, no, I mean,
it was, everybody has the right to their own opinion. And as far as I'm concerned, it has nothing against you or the way you feel or nothing like that.
Absolutely.
I think we're always been on good standing, and I wish to continue it to be that way.
Absolutely. We just have a different opinion on this, but that's fine.
Yes.
Thank you, darling. Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good morning, caller. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi. Good morning.
I had myself on mute. I just want to say that no one standard of innocence or guilty should rely upon any judicial system. Here's a story. You can have someone who entered into sexual assault, rape of a minor, and it was caught on camera, and it's plain as day. The video is complete evidentiary proof that this situation occurred. However, the way that video was obtained and presented in the court was illegal. Therefore, that may be the one single piece of evidence that allows that individual to go free because of a technicality. So at no time, innocent until proven guilty is a saying, correct, but it doesn't mean innocent until proven guilty necessarily in a court of law. Because the public domain can certainly determine that somebody is guilty of something, but the system and the way that the legal system works can end up having to exonerate that individual because acquit that individual, whatever it is, simply because of the laws and the way they're written and the way that procedures are done. So let's just keep that in mind, that we don't, if there's enough evidence out there to state, show, prove something, it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to to a court of law.
Let's be honest too, right?
Before we determine that.
And
that's all I just wanted to say. And that goes for everything, not even just this individual situation.
Right. Let me just say this as well. For anyone who thinks that this administration is going to do a single thing to President Trump, right? While he's in office, they are beyond delusional. He will not be held accountable. So saying that, I'm going to wait for him to be charged and found guilty, that is not going to happen while he's there. He was already found guilty of other stuff in a court of law, and look at what he has done. He's trying to erase that. If he could pardon himself, he would have done that already. He's taken people who were found guilty in a court of law and undone every single thing by pardoning them, by giving them clemency, whatever. And some of them turned right back around and did the exact same thing again. We have one right now. You want to talk about migrants committing crimes? One of those blue-blooded Americans that he pardoned was just in the news again for sexually assaulting a minor after being pardoned by the very same Donald Trump, because he does not care about Americans. And the day that they wake up and recognize that, they will be better off for it. So they can whitewash this any way that they want about, he's innocent until proven guilty. I'm a firm believer in the judicial system, but I am also very, very cognizant and aware that the rules that apply to me and you, even in the judicial system, do not apply to the likes of Donald Trump. And it is what it is. His name is called, you know, they've redacted so much of those files, right? And they said his name is now called over 1 million times in the unredacted Trump files. How you gonna be best friends with a pedophile and not be someone who is also engaging and supportive of that behavior? It doesn't even make any logical sense.
Right. Well, like I was saying just now, I am a firm believer in the judicial system as well, but they get it wrong a lot of times.
Of course, the judicial system isn't perfect.
That I wanted to just share when I called.
Yeah.
You. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. I mean, you know, listen. You can sit down and even talk about, for example, this $10 million that he's trying to get from from the taxpayers right now, from the American people. That's not even legal for Trump to be, for the American government to be paying him when he's in office. And yet, that's what he's doing, and people don't see anything wrong with that. Right? Hold them all accountable. I don't care about no left, right, center, none of that. Every single person, former President Clinton, every single one, if you can see enough evidence. Now, the one thing I'll say with former President Clinton, yes, he was in pictures with him, but his name is not mentioned anywhere near what Donald Trump's name is, and yet you guys are still excusing this man's behavior. That's the part that is really fucked up, that don't make no sense. Let me remind you of the clip. You want to talk about Biden sniffing somebody's hair? I don't know nothing about that. But what I do know, and I can download it for you, is a clip where Donald Trump himself basically downplayed the rape of a 14-year-old boy. He has a conviction. He tried to go back and lie on the woman. And the court said, you're not going to do that. You're going to pay a fine if you continue to lie about this situation. Where he has been found to have sexually assaulted someone. Listen to the man in his own words. Listen to this clip.
The public understands how inherently dishonest the press in this country is.
As a member of the press, let me try to clear up some of the things which you say are untrue. My bankers and I worked out a terrific deal that allows me to come out stronger than ever. I see the deal as a great victory. Being on the verge of bankruptcy, being bailed out by the banks,
well, you don't have to say that.
Skating on thin ice and almost drowning, that's a businessman to be admired.
You say on the verge of bankruptcy, Barbara, and you talk on the verge, and you listen to what people are saying.
I talk to your bankers.
Well, that's fine. And what do they say? I mean, you know, depending on which banker you're talking to, what do they say? Well, I don't know what the bankers have said. The plaza's a very valuable property. Everybody told me, oh, you paid too much, you paid too much. Now they're all saying what a great deal he made on the plaza.
I mean, this man consistently lies through his teeth. And the fact that you believe it, I mean, that's on you. But that doesn't change the fact that he's been lying. Good morning, caller.
Auntie Sandy.
Hello.
Stuck in traffic. Not sure what happened on the roads this morning, but it's chaotic. So it's been interesting listening to you argue with your callers. I hope that I am not treated in a similar manner this morning. I'd like to.
Nobody not arguing with nobody. We're having a discussion.
No, you and Jim wasn't arguing. No, not at all. That was a pleasant conversation, an exchange of views. I wanted to bring back the focus to Cayman and some of the points that you were making earlier. I agree with a lot of what you said, but I think the concern of many Caymanians, and I'll just speak for myself right now, is if we are anticipating a barrage of new sort of persons flooding the island because they're leaving their home jurisdictions and so on and so forth, yes, you have to commend the minister and the team responsible for border control in preparing for that. But I think the bigger question is, if you look at the total population of Cayman and call it 90,000 people right now, there's about 40,000 work permits. Let's say there's 25 to 30,000 Caymanians, whether that be generational or Caymanians that have acquired via status and so on and so forth. We are largely in the minority. The reason why I'm making that point is because I understand that we have asylum laws and we have conventions that we've signed up to via the UK where we have to do certain things to protect those that are at risk and those that come seeking asylum because of their situation at home is very, very dire. However, when you get to Cayman and you are now, you got Caymanian, the rights to stay as a result of the asylum process and so on and so forth. You remember the gentleman that was in the middle of town and the one that basically lost his mind when he was being videotaped and so on and so forth? I don't think we do a robust enough job of vetting who these people are. So if they're a particular negative way prior to getting asylum or becoming Caymanian, the situation is only worse.
And listen, let's be very clear. In relation to that particular individual, I have said that they have made a mistake allowing him to get asylum. Now, I don't know what his application said and how it was granted, but he is beyond an agitator. He commandeered a ship in Cayman waters, and this man did not go to jail for that.
No, I agree with you 100%. If he could do that, like what else is he up to? And I just think that's a failure by the system or the process. But the larger point that I was going to make, if you are seeking asylum because of your political beliefs and the dangers that you face at home, how did some of these people travel back home? Because you came here saying, I cannot go back home. It's too dangerous.
And that is why, once again, we have brought that up numerous times right here on this show. And the government, the deputy governor, was listening. And they have now since changed the legislation that allows them to review people who've gotten political asylum over a particular, space of time. Review it on a regular, I think it's every 3 years. And it can now be taken from them. And they're no longer, if you can find your way back home, you're no longer eligible for that political asylum request. And I think that that's fair because clearly you're not in fear of your life if you can go there on a vacation.
Rightfully so. Second point that I was going to make, if you are lucky enough to stay in Cayman because you've received your asylum request has been approved, how is it some of these people don't work, don't speak English, not trying to integrate into the community and live a better life than multi-generational Caymanians that born here, from here, that died here, yet the system seems to ensure that those that are the recipients of this gift of asylum have a better circumstance than many people that you and I know. And all I'm saying is I have no apologies to make about being pro-Caymanian. And if we're going to look after people, let's try to look after our own first, because there's not that many of us, okay? Really and truly, if you look at multi-generational Caymanians, like I said, if we get to 25,000, that's a big number in a population of, that's a small number in a population of 90 plus thousand people. And what irks me is we find the means to make everybody else on the system feel comfortable and have a better situation. Yet you can go down to any district right now, any crack, any crevice, and there's a grandmother who is there. Yes, her children probably did her wrong and aren't looking out for her, but the system isn't looking out for her either.
Well, but we do have to look. Okay, let me say a couple things about this, right? We do have to look at how.
Am I right or wrong? Am I right or wrong?
There's partial truth to that, but the devil is in the details. Okay. So you need to look at how we got where we are. So let me say this. The vast majority of Cubans who have come here and been granted political asylum, which I don't know how many, I'll get the numbers, right? Are they living amazing lives, driving around in fancy cars and 4,000 or 5,000 square foot house? No, they're not. In fact, I would challenge you to show me one. Even this dude who is granted a political asylum, he's out here every day on the streets begging to be able to find employment. Mostly because of his attitude, why nobody don't want to hire him. But he's not living no amazing cushy life, better than anybody else.
Compare it to home. Compare it to their home jurisdiction.
Well, I mean, like I said, there are different levels of poverty, but you're talking about what's happening in Cayman.
I'm talking about Cayman first.
No. I agree. First. Listen, there is no doubt. No, listen. You can be Caymanian first, and you can also put situations in proper context, right? They may be better off than where they're coming from. That much I am sure of. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But I think when you believe that they're the ones who are the threat to you as a Caymanian, they're not the ones who are the threat to you, Johan. You know who's a threat to you? The ones are North American friends who come here, tell you that they have trust experience, tell you that they're lawyers, that they're CPAs, that they're attorneys, that they have all these qualifications, become partners in these law firms. When you find out they only have 2 years of PQE, they're going to come and they're going to compete with you. Those are the ones that you need to be hyper focused on, not on the poor little guy coming from Cuba who really is no harm to you in most cases. Not all, because that one, he needs to go. The ones who come here, let me tell you who the real threat is. The ones who come here and take over the DPP's office, as an example, who just got his contract renewed by the governor's office of the Cayman Islands. We, the people, don't have no say in whether he keeps his position or not. He does a fucked up job all the time on cases, loses cases that his office shouldn't be losing. Cases they shouldn't be taken to court, he's taken to court, and he is not held accountable. And guess what? The hemorrhaging of Caymanian staff under him, who will never get to the position where they will be head of the DPP's office, will never have a Caymanian in that position if we continue on this track. Right? We'll never have a Caymanian chief justice. We will never have, finally we got chief of police, right? Finally got one.
Chief justice. We have a Cayman chief justice because if you have status,
well, okay. Fair enough. And I take nothing away from Margaret Ramsey. She's well qualified and I'm very, very proud of her. But I think you also understand the point that I'm trying to make. Is that there's a lot of roadblocks in our way. And it's not the poor Cubans who are coming here. There's a system in place that is being followed. We are tightening the noose on their necks very much. And we have done as much as we can about them. What about everybody else? The ones...
Sandy, I never spoke specifically of... I use the Cuban national as an example, but I'm talking about anybody that comes here.
But they're the least threat to you. They're not the ones coming and sitting in your office saying, they're a lawyer and then you must teach them how to do all the company registration stuff so they can take your job by next month.
Yeah, but Sandy, I hear you, and yes, there are a lot of people that are put on a face to meet a face, and there's a facade of brilliance and education and all the rest of it. I get it. All of those things are true, but I think the system has to tighten the bolts and the braces in order to ensure that what you're talking about becomes a situation that is a lot less than what it is today. So there's a system in place. If there's the political will and people are prepared to support the changes that are necessary in order to ensure that these things don't happen. Yes, because we have a lot of people that are fraudulent and embellish, their abilities and so on and so forth. But at the same time, at least we know the system. All I'm saying is, whatever the system is, and if it's in corporate Cayman, if it's on a work site, if it's a domestic helper, if it's somebody looking for work or anything, all I'm saying is we got to do a better job of figuring out who, what, and why we allow them to stay in Cayman, because you might not think it's a threat to me or anybody else, but I'm telling you, There is zero integration. There is zero respect for Caymanians. They're merely here to take what they can take. And it's the equivalent of being a blood-sucking vampire. And we sit back and we complain on the radio, but we don't hold the people that are responsible for making decisions. And I'm not talking about just politicians, because we can change out politicians every 4 years by voting them out. But we don't change the main players in the system that have supported a system that has failed and is failing and creaking by over the last 20, 25, 30 years. So all I'm saying is, let's have a holistic conversation about the type of Cayman that we want with the type of people that deserve to be here. Because if you can suck off the system and get better support in your circumstance as a asylum seeker, you can't tell me that we can't do a better job of looking after the people that are indigent, that are old, that are needing the assistance. And yes, their families have to do better, but all I'm talking about is look after us, your own first, and then let's help the world.
And I mean, we're on the same page. I mean, I don't have a problem with that.
We're always on the same page, except when you bring
I don't have any issues with that, Johan. I think that's where we are. But I'm also very cognizant of, we tend to blame people who are not even the ones who are the threat to us.
I just finished blaming a bunch of Caymanians that are in charge of departments and policy, and you talking about I blaming expatriates? No,
that's not what I said. I said we often blame people who are no threat to us, and that's where you join the conversation. I mean, rightfully, you've put the responsibility now on the leadership of this country, which they're the ones who set the policy and who protect the people.
It's not just the elected leadership, because the politicians and ministers come and go, but the same people that run a division, run a department, run a ministry, they stay, and the nonsense continues for years and decades after decades. And that's all I'm saying. Like, if we don't love each other and look out for each other and protect each other in Cayman, everybody's going to come and eat our lunch. And then we're going to be on the radio talking about it. That's all I'm asking. And I support a lot of what you say. And when you and I have arguments, it's always colorful and good. But, let's fix us and our people before we start becoming so worldly that we're helping everybody else and forgetting our own. That's the end of my message. I hope you have a great day. Brownies with nuts for Nico would go a long way this weekend because it's Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. Yeah, listen. I think the oversimplification sometimes, and we're all guilty of this, of it's us versus them. It's very linear. It's this. That's not the case at all. I mean, there's a lot of complex considerations here. All right, we got 2 callers trying to get in. Caller number 1. Hello. Hello, caller. Hello.
Yeah, morning, Sandra.
Yes, morning.
How are you doing?
Not bad. How are you?
Yeah, I'm thankful.
Yes.
Yeah, I just would like to comment on what Johan was just saying. He's really diving deep there, and it's right to the bone. What he's saying, that we change the players, but the game goes on when it comes to elections and, actually selecting new governments. Because the main cast is still there. So it's more than just superficial. It's further down than what we really think it is. But what has amazed me more with the system that we have, and I know where we stand per se, and probably the root cause of how we are governed. We're a monarchical state. Let's get that straight. I mean, there's no way around that. We're a colony, right? And in many instances, it seems like we have been recolonized. So I always used to look at governors as, say, match referees for good governance. But it seems like that is not really the case in many instances. I'll give you a prime example of how I can, just openly say that. Look at when the LGBT rights, anything else that goes and came on, governors never seem to get, I thought they would intervene in something that they got to know it's not right. Maybe I don't know enough about the system right down to see how, dirty the water can get. But at the same time, when the LGBT, they had their, uproar about their legal rights, whatever, right away, she came into the rescue and insisted that we recognize it, or if not, it would be, more or less a human rights thing. We'd be violating the human rights factor. She was quick to come to that. But it doesn't seem like they're quick to come to anything else that is in the judicial system, just like what we were talking about with the things that, this man has been appointed, apparently, and his record is terribly scratched up and scored. So
let me explain. Let me say this, because I think that it wasn't this governor, but it was the previous governor, as I recall. But let me tell you exactly why. When you say that they were quick to come to the rescue, that's not quite accurate. Because what actually happened was this was something that went through litigation in the courts. This is where you got to pay attention to the details. The courts mandated that the government needs to fix this. Okay. Then it went through the whole rigmarole where the government refused to fix it themselves. They wouldn't fix it. So as a last resort, when you have a mandate from the court, you don't take that lightly, that your laws are incompatible with human rights. And so the governor, yes, at that point stepped up and said, the legislators have determined that they're not going to fix it. Nothing will ever change. So now I have an international obligation. I have a legal obligation per the court to fix this. And that's how it was fixed. So it's not quite how you're saying it, like all of a sudden the governor just jumped up and decided this was the only issue that they were going to care about. This went through years of litigation. And in fact, when it first went to Alden McLaughlin, he ignored it. When Chantel and her wife messaged him and said, listen, we just want the same rights in terms of like insurance and being able to, if something happened to me, my spouse can make a decision, or my partner can make a decision about my care and whatever. We've adopted a child. We want that child to have rights in this country, et cetera, et cetera. He ignored them. So this wasn't a jump up situation. This was years of litigation back and forth. So that's a very different situation. You understand?
Yeah, but it's all interconnected. And I'm going to tell you why. What you just said, yeah, the facts, I can recall that myself. But let's look at it from this angle. Do you ever wonder why the politician stayed to the point where they didn't intervene?
Well, I wonder, especially when some of them are LGBTQ themselves. Some of the, don't stick a pin in it. Admit the truth. Because enough of them sitting right there doing the exact same thing, right? You got former leaders of government business from the District of West Bay offering men $1,000 for a friggin' blowjob. And then they want to get up and sing in church and pretend like they're holier than thou, and they want to judge people in that community. They need to shut up because they have no standing. There's something wrong with them. They're not willing to admit who they are. And then they're the same ones sending out voice notes, hating and that portion of the community, talking foolishness about the good Lord and this and that, and let's pray that never comes to Cayman. Well, that same Braca female that was sending out these voice notes, where was she when she died and some other woman pom pom in the Brac? Because everybody doesn't know the stories. When she was turning out women because they had man shortage in the Brac and all kind of foolishness you can hear. We need to stop as a community. We need to stop lying to ourselves and lying to each other.
Everybody has skeletons in the closet.
This is not about skeletons. This is about people that is who they are, right? But yet they want to deny other people the right to simply live their own lives honestly.
Sandra, at the same time, politics is a popular contest. Maybe why they didn't intervene, because can you imagine someone, it's a very unpopular issue here.
Now you're getting to the heart of it.
Right?
So we go based on popularity. That's true.
But, well, see, this is the thing, what I'm saying. Why they didn't do it? So it had to take the government to do it. You know why? So the spotlight wouldn't be on them. We couldn't criticize them for such liquor. So, you know, it's the scheme of things, you know what I'm saying? And it's more than what meets the eye many times. I know this is down, you know, run right down through the membranes of our society. Let me tell you something you probably don't know. Back where the Legislative Assembly is, Parliament is, there was a little park there called Princess Royal Park. And back, I think it was the late 60s to early 70s, there was 2 people from the UK. And they used to ride around on a double bicycles then, that they were popular in tourists, you know, their, you know, excursion, recreational trips. And these 2 men, they were middle-aged men, would be doing everything and anything that a male and female would do in general public. And that came on then as so strange, you know what I'm saying? It was like, we couldn't relate to that. But I'm saying all that to say that type of behavior was totally accepted in the UK from, you know, hell was hatches way back when. So you imagine now how it is now. It's a way of life to them, right? But not to us. So we cannot really relate to it that way.
Are you sure that we can relate to this? Are you sure you talking about Cayman?
Most of us, Sandra. Most of us.
I think you're lying to yourself.
Listen, hold on.
Yes.
You check most of the Caribbean. So see if they really accept. It's a defilement to most Caribbean countries.
Well, that's because Caribbean
outright shows
we have double standards though, because everybody can think of the fact that everybody has one or more in the family. 1 in 4 people are gay.
So Sandra, if you took a status right now, the average Caymanian, and ask them if they are in support of man marrying an ex-man.
No. That's not what I'm saying though. What you said.
No. But that's a comparison.
You said that no, it's not a comparison. You said that this
because
English couple
it's the same topic.
You're saying that this English couple,
because of the fact that we know it's not right.
No, you're saying that this English couple somehow introduced homosexuality into the Cayman Islands. That's what you're making it sound like.
I'm saying there's no problem for England to introduce that, insist that we have it, because it's the norm. They say that it's
homosexuality has always been in our cultures.
But
right?
In the Cayman Islands, in most of the Caribbean, right?
Yes, they've been here too, been Jamaica, been all over the Caribbean.
But it's not really accepted to that point. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it's accepted. It's accepted on the down low. We can get up on public platforms and not support it. Just like I just told you about McKeever Bush. He can get up on a public platform and get up on a podium and speak out against the abomination about homosexuals, and yet he's engaging in the same friggin' behavior. That's what I'm telling you. So we're more likely to have a double standard. That's what you need to say. We're more likely to have a double standard about it, as opposed to just being honest. All these people
is a country of double standards in more ways than one.
Well, on this particular topic, it is a big one, bigly, as Donald Trump would say. So, I mean, I hear you. It's not ever going to be outwardly supported. Most people are going to be like, no. And behind closed doors, that's all they be doing.
Yeah, but I mean, you see, this is the thing. It takes all kind of make a world, right? So the thing is, though, what I'm saying is, getting back to the governor, would you agree? But let me ask you this. We have the Chamber of Commerce. A bunch of business people got together to protect their own interests. We got Lawyers Association, Contractors Association, Hotel Association, this association, association. Where do we go? Who do the average person go to get any type of relief of justice for some injustices that have been bestowed on us? You tell me who it is.
Normally, normally they call him Marrow these days. I mean, I don't know. You could try your MP.
That's what you are. So
you can try your MP, I guess, and depending on what the issue is, they might be able to help you out. I don't know.
Sandra. Okay, let's since that. Give me a minute more. The system that we have. Okay, with this 19 constituents, right? What if you have a deadbeat representative in your constituent that represent you wherever you in your little parcel?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know? And I've heard it from good sources that if you go to them, and you know they fail. Some people they have dogs in the yard, they can't get to and all this type of thing. You know, as a deterrent. You know what I'm saying? To have a screen between you and them. They're living in a bubble, in isolation, per se. Because they're fixed for 4 years. You can't fire them. Now, if you go to a next representative from some other, constituent, what will happen then? They can tell you to go F off because talk to your representative. Who do you go to? That's a scenario that we have. So what we should really have here, and Kimanian should wake up to, what we need here is a national vote that if someone in East End can address an issue here in West Bay, they are more, focused on their particular district or their particular constituent. But it should be a national vote because if they move a motion to affect me in West Bay, why shouldn't I be able to vote for them in East End? This place is too. We swallowed that bait, hook, line, and sinker. But the Cayman people learns hard because we're so passive. We haven't had to fight for anything over the last 50 years, right? It fell in our lap, and it's been good, but it's mostly been bad at the same time because he hasn't prepared us for the real world and what's about to come. As I said before, Sandra, in the airport, the only thing that is lacking there is to put a sign up that says, "Welcome to the Cayman Islands. Come on, come all. Do as you please." Because it seems to be unconditional in many instances. If someone can get off a boat or a plane this morning, and by this evening, they're catching fish they born last night to subsidize their diet at our expense, what do you think going to really happen to us? Not in the near future. We will become a place of desolate. Yes, man, you need some strict guards at the gate. And I agree, the problem didn't start with this government, but they are the government that can fix them because it's high noon that this happens. We really have some serious crossroads in this country, much more than the average person can think. We're in dire straits. Actually, let's call it paradise. But it's no point of having paradise too if I can't afford to live in it either. You ever thought about that?
Of course.
Okay. Brother, you're doing a good job. And I don't know what Cayman would do without you. We come from the same sign, so.
I appreciate it, my darling. No, I mean, it's a fight. And listen to me. I'm with you. Up to a certain point. Now we do have to remember that the governor has to be fair to her, she also have restrictions because she was even challenged on that. And I don't think it was her. I think it was under the previous governor. But anyway, when I said the governor, I mean the position was also challenged, right? So she knows what her role is, and she knows what the role of the elected representatives are. And 97.2% of what we need to do in this country are through our elected representatives. Now, this NCFC government, they've been in for a year. We have to give them an opportunity because there's a lot of moving parts. But I think, to be fair, so far they've been doing a decent job. So let's continue to give them the opportunity.
Yeah. They seem to be much more proactive than the reactive governments we had over the past.
Yeah.
Because that is one thing that I've found too. So Andre, just let me stick a pin for 1 second and let me see if I can consolidate just up something I just want to say as a message to the people of the Cayman Islands. Some years back, we had a petition for high fuel prices. And the committee gathered at the Georgetown Town Hall on a market day. But if it had been a sunny day, it probably would have made a difference. with 26 people. I myself garnered over 1,000 signatures.
Mm-hmm.
We went down to the Legislative Assembly, stone's throw away, with almost 15,000 signatures in a wheelbarrow. And the politicians, they were waiting on us out on the patio over there. And before I really got that close up to them, I could see and feel, that you mean you all come and challenge us on this kind of issue with 24 people? Well, we had a lady who was of Interage. She was very vocal. She went up to the then minister of that portfolio, who was Kurt Tibbetts, and asked him directly, when something can be done about this? When something will be done? What we can expect from this now? And he said, today we're going to start working on that from today. Well, they say, the rest is history and that natural death. What happened was they moved a motion to put high visible signs outside the premises of these fuel retailers that would be very visible to oncoming motorists. That's how far that went. But I'm only saying all that to say, if that 26 people had been 260 or more, maybe we wouldn't be paying the high prices of fuel and everything else that comes under that today. So people in Cayman need to know that it's time to assemble yourselves on causes that means a lot for you, your children's children. Because if not, the old adage of Caymanian, proverb is dog eat our supper. And Sandra,
thank you, my dear.
You stay blessed.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yes, nice.
All right, we're going to do one more call, and then I think I got a meeting coming up. Let me just check my calendar. I'm pretty sure that's happening this morning. So I got to get ready to hit the road. Someone says, morning, you talked about Barbados elections already. No, they won all 30 seats. Wow. Okay. That's a landslide. Has any country ever done that before? And what happens if there's no opposition? Well, I'm going to leave that for the people of Barbados to figure out. But people still talk about this homosexuality issue in 2026. That's old news now. Accept it and move on. We have bigger issues to deal with. That was one person there. Good morning, caller.
Sandy, it's Jim again.
Hey, Jim. How you doing?
I just want to assure Johan our exchange between you and I had two strong personalities.
Why? Yeah, this is not an issue, Jim.
If we all thought the same way, what a boring show it would be and what a boring life it would be. So we can have adult enough conversations to agree to disagree. With conviction. I like you and I respect you. And hey, I'm part of your audience. I'm part of a voice.
And the show is called Cold Hard Truth.
And I want to participate and continue participating. But just do me a favor, make Johan a pan of brownies and everything will be good.
That's always his end game. Trust me. He claims that they're for his son Nico, but I know better. Nico sometimes doesn't even get the brownies. Here's the trick. We have one more caller that was trying to call in. We'll take that call. Never let Johan get his hands on the brownies first. Because low key, as soon as you hand them to Johan start eating the brownies right away. He not even driving out of my driveway good and he's already eating the brownies. So by the time they get home to poor Nico gets like 2 or 3 out of the brownies. Don't trust Johan with brownies. I'm telling you. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning, honey. How are you?
Yes, please. I'm doing all right. Please give Johan some brownies before the weekend. But tell him he got to eat the healthy kind. Simple meals.
I keep telling
him the healthy
listen,
kind.
I have recipes. Now they're claiming that they can do brownies like out of bananas and cocoa powder and all kind of stuff. So I keep telling him there was even a recipe with beans. And I want to try it. You know what Johan told me the other day when I said, Johan, I want to try these healthy brownies. He said, if you bring them to my house, I can pelt you with them.
Johan wouldn't even know what you're giving him because they're so healthy. But you can also make brownies.
I got fool him.
Brownies.
You're right. I'm gonna fool him one day.
You just do
Give
it.
him the healthy ones, and he's not gonna know the difference.
Yeah, I make it. I put banana in it, and I put more nuts in it. Then I sprinkle the nuts on top, the cut up ones, so they have nuts on top too. And you can take your baking cocoa, mix it with whatever sweetener you want, and drizzle over the top as a cover too. And give it a coating of nice chocolate extra. Johan would really love that with nuts on top. Because he loves brownies and I love brownies too. Brownies are the best thing. I just want to be real quick. I'm not going to rattle on like I did yesterday. But what we need in this country, we seem to be finally getting from a government that has started to listen to the needs and the wants of people that have suffered in Cayman for far too long.
Yes.
And we have to learn to respect one another because each one of us has to live in this country. And I keep saying this, I am against no foreigner coming to my country. What I am against is the disrespect that they are bringing. And we have to do a better game and we have to do a better job at vetting the people we allowed into Cayman.
Yes, across the board.
Cayman has become a slum for poverty-ridden people that we are importing. And if you can't make it in your country and you come to our country and you cannot make it, and the forces where we got to take care of you, it's a strain on our government and our people. We have our own people that are hurting. We have families going hungry. There are people homeless here. And people got to stop hating on people because you're gay, because you're this. I keep saying, if I open my mouth, many marriages in Cayman would break.
Child, please.
Because of
Little
what
do
I
they
have
know.
seen over the years. The hate, the discrimination about gay people, about this person not fitting into this thing. And then the church becomes involved in it, and then money becomes involved in it. And these people want to defend their actions because they're going to churches. I said it yesterday, and I gotta say it loud for every Christian that goes to church, that's trying to be a good Christian. It is our own people that are putting us down when they think they are better than us. Going to a church, Sandra, has never made anybody a Christian.
That's true.
And I keep telling people, stop chasing the wrong God. You are in church. Deal with what the Bible says. Stop dealing with what the love of money is teaching you. Because we do not want to address some of the issues in this country that are there and that needs to be addressed. And when you have people that are suffering in this country from whatever it is, mental illness, whatever, and they have to go beg into the powers to be, to get things somehow sorted, to get a life becomes a hassle and a burden for those people. Mix mental illness into it, and it is a whole different story. This country, we love to import people here to make them tell us what we got to do. And we put report after report on everything we do, and we waste money. When you need to go to the people that it's affecting, talk to the people that it's affecting. They can tell you how they get treated. We love to treat everybody else better than we treat our own. And some of the times it's our own people doing what they do, and they should be ashamed of themselves, because every nationality has good and bad in it. Every nationality has gay people in it. And I could just say this. Look at World War II. The power to be was supposed to be Hitler, okay? The world rose up against Hitler. Hadn't it been for the world power, given the UK what they needed to survive, which was the United States of America. Because let's get real. If the United States did not provide the UK to fight a war, we would have been communist the whole world today. But the world powers have changed. It's been said 2 times for the year, I think. And I got to say it and let Cayman know what's happening. And it's happening around the world, and I'm going to go. The world did a global reset during World War II. What was at the front of the global reset was immigration. Because when the Jews realized what Hitler was doing all over Europe, a lot of them got out of there and they went to Palestine. That's how Israel was created, through dividing Palestine, to give the Israelites, the Jews, a home. People need to listen to history. The world was reset fighting World War II. America became the dominant power. The world is being reset again because of immigration, because every country realizes they cannot foot the bill for people running from their countries. We have to do something in order to allow people to make it and live and work and have a life in their own countries and not to be running. So the world is on another global reset. And what we're doing in Cayman about we are outnumbered with foreigners here, yes, we are outnumbered. And something has to be done because it has to change. America's doing it, the UK doing it. When people come and they bring their nastiness and their living together in 4 and 6 and 10 in one room, you're bringing down the country. We are importing poverty and we need to stop it. The government needs to do a better job of vetting who they allow into this country, and then we won't have the madness that keeps carrying on. But it comes down to respecting. Caymanians got to learn to respect one another. Start helping your fellow Caymanians. Stop mashing up on somebody because if Sandra can afford a BMW and you can't, you're going to get one just to prove the point. Mm-hmm. The point is we have to become our own people's keepers, because any one of us can fall from our high platform grade down to nothing one day. And, absolutely. And we all are made by one maker. So why is the divide between Caymanians? We should stop dividing ourselves, stick up for one another, come together and let us all put our little 2 cents into the pot to do it, to better Cayman and Caymanians, because we have to live here. Anyone that comes here that don't want to stay here can pack up and go. And if Caymanians cannot live and survive in their country, then something has to be done. And I applaud the government for starting it, the NCFC, but there are still powers at play that would love to break up what is being done in that House of Parliament. And I'm going to leave it here. Parliament is coming back into session on March the 4th. I keep urging people, learn and listen to when it's in session. Listen to the accounts committee. Listen to what is being done, because they are trying to fix a ship that is almost sunk. Because why? We as Caymanians have allowed people to come here to this paradise and tell us what we can, what we can't, and where we can't walk. And part of that, they keep telling you can't walk on the beach. But I leave it here. The beach is mine. I can go anytime. This is not the good land of Jamaica, which we all have ties to at some point in our lives. They can't go to their beaches. We can still go to ours. We have to fight every fight and every battle. And as Caymanians, we must learn to respect one another, because that is not bought in any supermarket. And common sense, we're all born with a little. And we all have our own opinion. We're all made different. But at the end of the day, if you really love Cayman, you need to start respecting each other and start to live together and stop fighting one another down. Because the people that come in here, they already, half of them don't care about that. They're only here for the almighty dollar, for the love of money. Caymanians, this is home. Start protecting it and start respecting one another, because at the end of the day, we are all stuck here. And this is a place that I keep telling people, when you are given the chance of your lifetime for a work permit, take it for what it is. Don't come here and disrespect Cayman or my people. But in order to do that part, Caymanians got to start respecting each other and realize none of us are the same. We are all born different. And if you have and continue to have families that continue to go on this narrative about this one is this and they don't fit into this and you can't go to this church because you're gay, but the people will blow you on the road and wave you for years. Those types of things are real in Cayman. I have a set of people that waves at me in West Bay, but big up in the church and the church broke up from down by the foray. I don't care who likes me. You cannot be a Christian and hating on people because you do not think that people deserve a right to live just because they are gay or they do not fit in to your demeanor because they don't talk the way you talk. They don't look the way you talk. Let me tell you, I'm going to leave it here. Some of these Caymanians breaking down the church doors, they don't need to break down church doors because their front and their backs were hotter when they were younger than us out here. But yet they want to criticize us and put us down. And we have to stop the hate, the discrimination, about if you can't come to my church. What? You want him to come to church with me? We have to stop it. The churches have become a money-making gimmick in this country, and I will say it again. There is no coffin that can hold a church. There is no coffin that can hold a piece of property or a piece of a house. And if you think you're carrying it with you, well, when your day come that you got to die, I wonder, you're going to be like the man who told his wife, honey, I want you to please promise me you're going to bury me with all of my money. The woman told him, you know what she told him? Yes, I'm going to bury you with all of your money. She wrote the check and then she put it in. You know what she told him? Now I'm going to spend some of that money that you wouldn't spend on me while you were alive. That's what she told him. There are many of those in Cayman. There are many people breaking down the church doors, Sandra. And I keep telling it, and I said it yesterday to 2 Caymanian women who have done me wrong. They can keep breaking down the church doors. They can keep breaking down the church. Going to church does not make anybody a Christian. It is what is in your heart, what you believe in, and the way you carry yourself. And if you show people one faith and you are breaking down a church door and you're showing others, your own people, a different faith, what are you? In the public opinion, you are a hypocrite. Thank you, Sandra, because Cayman needs to hear what people live daily. People hating on you because you got somewhere. I can tell anybody, I know where you started. Right there at the four-way stop, Micromatrix.
Yep, that's
tell
right.
them to keep hating on Sandra
That's
Hill,
right.
former Miss Sandra Catron, because you did it honestly, Sandra.
Yeah.
And sometimes people might not agree with what is being said or how it's being said. But sometimes, Sandra, when the truth needs to be said, it has to be said. Cayman needs a wake-up call on what it is to respect one another. And it isn't any foreigner coming off of any plane because majority of them don't respect us. But we are going to have a conversation. I want you to do a program on how we have destroyed our iron shore. That's what we need to do. You need to see the monstrosities that are sticking out on the iron shore down here. And we wonder when the next big hurricane might come, what will it do? Well, we don't have to worry about any hurricane coming because we need to worry about what the ground might do soon too. You see the rumblings in the Caribbean? You see how close it was to Jamaica and Cuba? You think the rumbling can't start in Cayman again? And when it does start, and when that tidal wave comes, or tsunami wave that was supposed to come the last time that is 30 feet, where are all these mansions on the coastline going to go? Where is everyone going to go? Because they're not 30 feet high. You know, sometimes it takes nature to teach us a lesson. And apparently Cayman didn't learn that lesson to start respecting their own, because Ivan came and Ivan went. But it seems to be we are going to get a reminder because it's every 20-something years. We have to start doing a better job of not pushing the issues under the rug anymore people need to speak up. When you have been done wrong, bring it to the public and let the public know what is happening. Because Cayman is for Caymanians, I keep telling people. And if you do not like how we do it here, because there's a lot of people now to keep telling us what we can do here. This ain't your home. You have been given a gift to come here. Respect me and my people, or I will end with this. I hold nothing against nobody coming here. Come, but come with your respect. Because at the end of the day, I want anybody to tell me or any other Caymanian, and I've said this before, show me in a little spot on this earth that the God Almighty created that can emulate anything or what the Cayman Islands has done here in 50 years. There is no place in this world that can do it because we done it. And everybody wants to come here. Why? Because the money flowing and this is paradise. So home is Cayman to us. We got to learn to respect every nook and cranny of it. And when something isn't right, you start setting it right. And we did that, those who wanted to vote, because some of us wanted to see change before we voted. And there's plenty of us out there that didn't vote. But we finally seem to have a set of people that have become strong-willed and willing to listen and do and tackle the big issues and the small ones that are facing us Caymanians in this country. And I will applaud them, and I will say this, and I will leave it there. The powers to be are still working to break it up. But they're not going to break this one up because this is a people-driven government, and they are listening and watching. And Cayman needs to get on the ball, and we need to band together and start fixing the issues and dealing with our issues that we have here. Because as we are always told, you have nowhere to go. But didn't our forefathers travel the world? Cayman, the lessons that you hear on here and the stories that you hear and the people that speak, we're not bothering anybody. We are trying to get issues fixed in this country. And if more people spoke out publicly, a lot more would happen a lot sooner. Cayman needs a change, and it's getting it slowly. So I urge every Caymanian to get on the bandwagon. Support what you need to support. Stop putting your people down, because at the end of the day, when everyone else leaves these shores, we are stuck here with one another, and we are going to have to learn to get along, respect one another, and help one another. And that is how a country prospers, and that is how its people prosper. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you so much.
You keep doing what you're doing, as I keep telling you. You have come a long way. A long way.
Yep.
And I know they keep coming for your honey, child.
For them.
But your skin, skin is tough.
Yes,
tougher than
Georgetown
anything in the
tough.
body ever since hello. And when they realize where you're coming from, and when you're coming with your proof, they can't touch your honey, child. So you keep being
so
you.
much.
And I thank you for those of us that will speak out. We don't have to get on a talk show and cuss anybody. But I cussed a few words yesterday because I was frustrated. But it is the truth has to be told. We got to do a better job of taking care of our own people first before we take care of outsiders. I pray that we do not get bombarded with an influx of Cubans, because this government and the Caymanian people,
the government is trying to prepare, because I guess,
we cannot succeed taking care of them because we got to take care of our own.
Yeah, and let me say this: this is the economics of the world. This is decisions.
Yes,
a lot of people
it is.
sit here and say, "Why do you talk about President Trump? What do you care about President Trump?" It's situations like this. What he has done,
what he does affects the world
very much so. What he has done to Cuba. Now is going to directly impact their migration to the Cayman Islands. Facts. There's no debating and no arguing that. So there's a lot of other things he does that impacts us, but this is as direct as you can get. Direct.
Yeah, because they're not going to America.
That's right.
Period.
And by the way, Venezuela oil is now going to Israel. First time in years, Israel is receiving.
And we already know what all that was about. Yes. They keep saying it's not about the oil.
Oh my God. So Bloomberg reported on, Bloomberg reported on Tuesday that now Israel is going to be getting Venezuelan oil thanks to President Trump. What a mess.
Yes. Didn't Trump cancel all the the EV infrastructure in America that Biden put in? He canceled every bit of it. Private companies are still doing theirs, but the government stopped doing it because he wants the country to run on oil. It's madness. It really is. But the world is on a global reset of immigration, and every country has to take care of their own people first before they take care of some other person running. Because the UK not allowing Caymanians come running no more like they used to, because they figured it out.
Thank you.
So why run from another man's country
when you can
try to fight in your own?
Yeah.
Cayman, respect one another, because at the end of the day, your highfalutin life could come crashing down on you in a second.
That's absolutely right.
You know, I got end this with this. I am one Caymanian that I am glad to see the Honorable McKeever Bush out of politics. And I will say this, and I'm going to say it again. It took a Caymanian woman to do it. And the few voters that voted for her over what they voted for him. And that in itself, Sandra, if your candidate didn't win that night during this general election in May, well, we all won because we took out somebody that should have been gone a long time ago. I keep saying, go into church, not making nobody a Christian. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, my dear.
Keep safe on the road because they're crazy people, girl.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
God bless you, Sandra, and your family.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Goodbye, my dear. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, folks, we're going to have to wrap up the discussion, but I can tell you what, you want to tune in early tomorrow because I see somebody sending me a message saying, Sandy, political turmoil. Got your message loud and clear. Apparently, MP Kenneth Bryan is doing a survey about the government. So we are going to discuss that. Yeah. What a hot mess. It's an interesting question that he's asking. So let's get that on the discussion table, and we'll go from there. Oh, look, this morning I got some graded assignments for my tutorials. Not my exam yet. I guess they're still grading the exams. So I got a B on one article, which technically wasn't my full article that I wrote, so I'll accept that. And then the one that I wrote, which was an editorial piece, I got an A- on that one. My instructor said, I thought a quote or two would have added to the appeal of the story, maybe from Saunders himself. He doesn't understand politics in Cayman because that wouldn't have been, Saunders would not have commented on that article. And then he had some questions here. So I got an A- on that one. All right, folks, we're going to keep on moving, honey child, moving upwards and onwards. As the last caller say, some of y'all just seeing the journey now, but you're just seeing the results now, but you don't know where the journey began. I'm so glad he acknowledged way back when I started as an entrepreneur, all the way back in 2000. Jesus, that's 26 years now. My Lord. Long, long time. Wow. Yeah. Started out there in Centennial Towers, outfitted my first little unit and scrubbed my two little coins together, had people coming in, helping me. It's been a fantastic journey since then, I must tell you. And we have a big announcement that we're going to be making. Not quite yet, But hopefully in the next month, we've got a really, really big update for you guys. So thank you so much, Miss Ann. Thank you very, very much. So yeah, we've come a long way, baby, and we ain't stopping now. And that's why the haters, I can't pay them no mind. Child, they take too much energy. The energy that I even take responding to them, I'm like, oh, I could be focusing on something that is actually going to benefit my life, like moving the agenda forward. I can't help them. What are they gonna do to you? Can't take no bread out of my basket. So I ain't have business with them. Stay focused, folks. That's what you got to do. Level up. The one bit of advice I want to give Caymanians, every single day, somebody else just send me something about Kenneth again. Lord Jesus, not going to be tomorrow's topic. The one piece of advice that I was going to give you is never let somebody be able to step to you. Young people, come close, because I need this message to get into your little heads. Never let anybody be able to step up to you and say, you're not qualified. You don't know what you're doing. No. The least you can do, hear me good. The least you can do is get that little piece of paper to shut them up. I don't need no more pieces of paper. As you can see, where is it? Over. No, this side. Over here. I got all kind of certificates. I haven't even put the bachelor's degree anywhere in the wall, but these are the law ones. Law ones up there. And this is the master's over here. All kind of certificates, more certificates than Quaker got oats. And I'm 50-something years old. What do I need another piece of paper for? It's to make those naysayers STFU. That's what this is really all about. Shut up. Right? Oh, she not a real journalist. So when I get that piece of paper now from the London School of Journalism, what y'all gonna say then? I'm just saying. Ain't that hard? So don't ever let them come for you about you not qualified. Get the friggin' qualifications and shut them up and keep it moving. It's not gonna impact my bag. I can still make money, whether I had it or didn't have it. Right? But maybe it'll make them feel better. I'll cover another wall. I'll put it on the door or something, like underneath the Cayman Mall Road sign. That'll make them feel better. Just let them know you're not a fool. Mm-hmm. God gave you the ability. God gave you the brains. You're a born Caymanian, and you're not stupid. So make sure that they understand that you know a thing or two. And if it means getting that little piece of paper to make them happy, we can do that. Then not a problem. Okay, honey, chill. Thank you, CE Bank says, amen. Give yourself a kaboom. Appreciate it. We getting there. We studying hard, using the premenopausal brain to get it done, one way or the other. All right, beautiful people. I got an 11:30 meeting today. I am traveling tomorrow, but I will have a show. We're going to have a full show tomorrow. Don't worry about it. And then next week, I'm going to take my gear. I got to figure out what gear I'm taking with me and stuff. I'm trying to decide. And we're going to have the show on the road. So I will be traveling. And yeah, I'm going to have my stuff with me. I need to make some decisions about the gear though, because I know I got one piece coming and then I got to decide about this board. Anyway, we'll be good. We'll be good. We'll get it all sorted out for Monday. And then, yeah. All right, beautiful folks. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be talking politics because, ooh, honey child, y'all done gone and get it started. Kenneth Bryan in the house. Kenneth said, I can make y'all, I can stir the pot, give y'all something to talk about. Well, we're here for it. We are here for it. Morning, Sandy. Sounds like Kenneth is trying his hardest to disrupt this government. Another one says he's on the prowl. Meow. Kenneth on the prowl. Lord Jesus. Miss Virgilina Hawkins says Caymanian warfare or welfare is another side of the government governance. Okay. Jim says good show, Sandy. Thank you. Hello, Miss Anita. All right, bless folks. Have a beautiful day. There's no need to abuse people. Whatever your immigration policies are, you can do things humanely. This is where I'm at, right? I'm not saying throw open your borders. No, I'm saying that I support, and I see the Democrats. Funny enough, like I said, I don't deal with parties, but I do see that the Democrats are demanding some ICE to approve ICE funding. They're demanding these things. Setting aside that they're Democrats, I agree with all of this stuff. Bar agents from entering private property without a judicial warrant. Well, they're not supposed to do that. Bar agents from wearing masks and military-style uniforms. Require agents to wear ID and body cams. There's a camera that caught them throwing a woman in a cell and making her hit her head on something and almost killing the woman. And the funny thing about that is most of those things, that was in a detention center, most of the things are not caught on camera, but that one was. They're killing people. Require agents to wear, so body cams, absolutely. Restrict where and how agents can operate. Ensure states and local jurisdictions can investigate and prosecute potential crimes. So how can you kill somebody and then the federal government say, no, shut it down, no investigation? That's not right. New rules on using force and detention. Fire Kristi Noem, her neck on the chopping block already. And remove agents from Minnesota to show good faith. Just minimum standards, that's all. Minimum standards on how you treat people. Even prisoners deserve to have minimum standards. And they've committed a crime. And I don't believe that you should be abusing them, beating them up and all that kind of stuff. No. Minimum standards. Same thing with illegal migrants. Because some of them, they picked up not even migrants or illegal. They're American citizens. All right, folks. See you mañana. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels and visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.